I'm going to go on for too long. We're all super comic book fans. And by the way, everybody that doesn't know, Havoc Faction is Kyle's band, and they are absolutely kick ass and they involve superheroes. So go and check them out. Their links will be in the description down below. Also, if you really enjoy hard rock music and heavy metal music and all types of music, you're going to love what Jason Vilches does. His links will be in the description right down below as well. Both of these guys, incredible vocalists as well as musicians. I just wanted to give them a big shout out. Should have done that from the beginning. You know me. 3 hours into the thing, I'm like, oh, I'll put that in the beginning.
You're listening to the Media Man Dan podcast, promoting people with passion all over the globe. Interviews every weekend, album reactions every month. This is your host, Media Man Dan. Let's rock!
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, there we go. That's better. That's better. I knew it. Okay. There we go. Scaring me, scaring myself. The internet today has been something else. Oh, I can't hear you. What's up, guys, and welcome to Movie Man Dan. In the year of 2024, I was able to see so many movies, but I was not the only one that went out of their way to go to the theater. This time, I have my friends joining me. That is Jason Vilches. And Kyle of Havoc Faction. Here for the first time on this amazing stream, we're all going to be discussing movies, and more movies. I hope that you guys are here for all of the great opinions that we have, but if you disagree with us, feel free to leave some comments down below on things that we got wrong. We really appreciate you. Also, leave a like. I know this is a YouTuber thing, but this is going to be on YouTube, finally. I don't have to worry about it just being a Spotify thing, and we appreciate you for being here with us, spending some time today. We're going to jump right in to our lists. We all have a different list of movies. I'm trying to summarize everything that I can figure out that I saw by myself, and they will hopefully do the same. So we all saw a bunch of movies. My first movie that I saw last year, I always see a January film in January because I'm a psychopath and I think that they're somehow going to get better. Jason Statham always has my heart, so I give all the props that I can to him. The Beekeeper came out in early 2024. It's a wonderful story about a man who happens to be a beekeeper, used to be an assassin. There's literally no connection to beekeeping except for the beginning of the film. And they say a lot of things about hives. This movie is ridiculous. It's over the top. It's so funny at times, unintentionally, and it takes itself too seriously, which makes it a fantastic Jason Statham movie. I would say that if I were rating it on a scale of A to F, this is an absolute C minus, maybe a D plus if I'm really mean to it. But I had a blast, and I would recommend anybody that loves Jason Statham go out and see The Beekeeper. What did you guys think of The Beekeeper?
I enjoyed it for what it was. It was what I wanted it to be for the most part. It was Jason Statham doing what we want Jason Statham to do, which is kicking ass and like basically taking vengeance. You know what I mean? Like And I kind of the concept of like what set him off was like, the people who are just conning old people and, using all this tech and stuff like that. And the fact that it was like this rich, snotty kid or kid, I call him a kid, but he was like fucking, what was he supposed to be, like late 20s, early 30s or
Yeah.
something, like a total fucking millennial. Um, and it was there. What I wanted was creative kills, and we definitely got a lot of that.
Hmm.
I would say the movie definitely, like you said, it like started taking itself a little too seriously, but also started being way too silly, I would say, near the end,
Oh yeah.
where I was kind of like, okay, it's like a little ridiculous now, but also like we were taking it pretty serious in the beginning. It made sense, and then it kind of just got silly to a point where I'm like, okay,
Yeah, he was
what
starting to
happened here?
cry mommy like the king in Robin Hood, the animated version from Disney. Like he was just so into having his mother's approval on things, and then he just goes full psychopath and just murdering
Yeah,
rampage. But the thing about it that I really enjoyed, just like you were talking about with the senior citizens being scammed, was that scene in itself, like the celebration, like just that's how it's fucking done. Like they just swear so
hmm
much for no reason. They're all looking at all the guys on computers and they're just like, that's how we fucking do it. We did it. Like, just hopefully helping senior citizens commit suicide. What the fuck? Like the
yeah.
plot
It
is
basically made
crazy.
them very killable. We're all just like, oh, please, Jason Statham, please kill these motherfuckers.
Yeah. So it took its time to get to that point, and when vengeance finally happened, it was pretty good. Jason, you missed out on this one, right?
Yeah, I didn't see this one.
What do you think of this movie from our point of view?
It's like just on paper, it sounds like a fake movie that somebody in a TV show like 30 Rock would make. Like, all right, the joke is that it's Jason Statham, action star, but he's a beekeeper. Oh wait, no, that movie's real. Oh, okay, yeah. Sometimes truth is stranger than fiction, I guess.
Yeah,
Yes, that was one of my favorite critics was talking about that as well. They said that the reason that he's a beekeeper is because, he's a beekeeper. I think Dan Merle was pointing that out. He was like, why is he a beekeeper? Because that's the name of the movie.
That's the name of the movie.
yeah, which was kind of interesting. Like he's it was kind of like going in like John Wick. It was being a beekeeper was like it was a level of assassin. Like that was that whatever you call that. That level of assassin in their government or whatever. It's the secret assassins.
Yeah.
Like the secret organization and all that.
It
Yeah, they were like, oh, he's a beekeeper. Like, fuck it. It very much was kind of like fell in line with like the John Wick kind of thing.
it did have a really super senior celebrity cameo in it. See, I'm going with all the alliteration I can there, but the gentleman that was working for the kid, he's like a famous actor. I did not expect him to be in the film. I cannot remember his name right now, but I'll put a picture up.
Oh yeah, I'm trying to remember the guy who was like his assist, like
Like a
his
butler.
butler kind
Yeah.
of guy, right? I'm trying to
Yeah.
remember who it was.
He showed up
'Cause
and I was like, is he able to be in a movie this bad? Is
yeah,
Jeremy Irons,
I'm surrounded by idiots.
fucking
Oh,
Scar
Jeremy
from
Irons. That's right. It's Jeremy Irons.
from
Yeah,
Lion King.
fucking Oscar winner actor. Yeah, that's what was kind of funny. But
Yeah,
yeah, I would say a C. C is a solid grade for this movie.
fun revenge action movie. I saw a new one for this year, and that was Love Hurts. Really stupid, but really fun. Enjoyed it as well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So the next movie that I saw, I know both of you guys totally missed out on this incredible film created with the main actor Cole, no, not Cole Sprouse, Dylan Sprouse of Zack and Cody. Yeah, he's in a two-part romance action comedy movie series. One of them, Beautiful Disaster, and now Beautiful Wedding, came out in 2024. What a movie. What an incredible film. Every
Huh.
single moment that I thought the movie was bad, it one-upped it. It was like, how many times will I roll my eyes at this film? The amount of ridiculous, raunchy shit that's in this movie. I was like, way to just ruin everything in my childhood. Zach's my favorite of the two, and like you're killing this. Like at least Cody got to do some fun, sad movie about dying at a hospital. Come on, why can't we do something serious? And it goes absolutely batshit crazy. By the end of it, I was like, I'm so glad I saw this movie so I never have to watch it again. It's an F beyond belief. Beautiful disaster. 2 beautiful wedding. Sucked.
I never even heard of that. Wow.
It was on streaming, I think,
I
Amazon or
completely
something.
missed that movie.
Yeah, not good. Not good. Highly do not recommend anything that comes out of that business. I don't know who's running that studio, but they are definitely just taking paychecks from big celebrities. They're like, we're going to make a movie. And I don't know what it's going to be about, but we're going to make it. And you're going to be in it. Yeah. The next movie I saw is a movie that I did not know was part of a franchise. I saw Argyle. Did either of you guys see this? I don't know if it was on your list.
I did not.
Did not. Okay.
No, only because there's certain reviewers that I'll watch, and Chris Stuckman and Jeremy Johns.
Yeah.
And if both of them have a very similar take on a movie, and it's usually like, I'll be like, okay, I might skip that one. But if one of them really, really liked it and the other one was kind of like, then I'll be like, okay, I'll go check it out. But if they're both like, then I'm like, okay. I wanted it to be good. I heard like it was half good and half pretty bad.
Oh, it is something. I'll tell you. This movie is the ultimate, like, everyone hated it and I loved it. Like, from the beginning, I was so confused on what I was watching. It's so to give you the plot synopsis, it's Romancing the Stone with self-aware humor mixed with a Kingsman movie, mixed with a bunch of like completely off people. Like you don't know who to trust the whole time. The movie turns its back on one character that seems to be the hero the whole movie, and then you're like, wait, is he the bad guy? I don't know what's going on. And then they combine it with Kingsman and you're like, oh, that makes sense. Okay, well,
they did combine it with Kingsman.
They did. It is now part of the franchise. Spoiler alert for people that have not seen the end of the movie, but yes, it is completely connected. The Dua Lipa and Henry Cavill scenes, very minimal, and they were like promising from the beginning. Like it seemed like it was going to be part of the movie, but you just get a bunch of random face flashes where it'll go from I cannot remember his name into Henry Cavill's face, and then these action scenes will happen. And to explain this movie, I will just say that the marketing for this absolutely sucked. Everybody thought it was going to be about the cat. I thought it was going to be about the cat. And Argyle is one of my favorite movies of 2024. I had such a good time. I would recommend it to anyone if you really want to see a stylistic director. He definitely knows what he's doing, Matthew Vaughn. And there's one specific scene where you go and jump the shark, and then you jump through fire hoops the entire rest of the time. You just have to completely go with it. Just go with it. That you can, ice skate on oil slick in the middle of a rainbow-colored room with people that are shooting at you while oil's on the ground, which would literally kill everyone in the room. But just don't worry about it. It's fun. It's a fun scene, and you should enjoy it. It's ridiculous. The movie's over the top in all the best ways for me. For a lot of other people, it was not their favorite.
Yeah, I might check it out. I've only watched because there's 3 Kingsman movies, right? The third one's like a prequel or something.
Yes.
I missed that one too. I've only watched the first 2. I think I watched the second one. I remember the first one a lot, but I loved it, but I actually don't remember anything after that. So I might just have to revisit all of that and then get to Argyle.
There you go. That's perfect. And yeah, Kingsman, the actual prequel that they made for like being the first in the movies, I think that one starts it. Then Argyle is the second, and then it goes into Secret Service because they have a character that shows up in this movie, and you're like, wait a second, what timeline are we in right now? Like, I now understand that it's Kingsman, but what on earth? How is this a thing? So it'll kind of explain itself, but it puts it out there. Like, I think they're just going to continue adding more films to it and pretend like we don't know the director's doing all of this on purpose. He also created the comic book.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Huh.
But yeah, did you guys see the movie with Channing Tatum and Sandra Bullock a few years ago?
Yeah, Lost City.
Lost
Oh
City.
no, I remember seeing the trailers for it.
Yeah, so the Lost City has kind of the same premise as Argyle. They both start out with the romancing the stone and then taking this like kind of serious but fun turn on it. I would say this movie does a much better version than the Lost City did. I would
I liked
really
Lost City. I
recommend it.
thought that was fun.
Great. Well, then maybe
I
you'll
like
like
the
this.
twist. I like the twist that fucking spoilers.
Yeah.
When they kill Brad Pitt off, I was
Instantly.
like, oh my god. I thought that was so good. I did not see that coming whatsoever.
The most graphic scene in the whole movie too.
Yeah, so
Like,
good.
just so bloody for a PG-13.
I love that Brad Pitt agreed to that. That made me happy.
Yeah, Brad Pitt. By the way, I should give this commentary. Bullet Train I saw in 2022, 2023, and I loved it. And I always now when I watch action comedies, which I was talking about Love Hurts before, it's in that like mindset. Like I'm always like, but is it as good as Bullet Train? Like, is it really as good as Bullet Train? Like I've become.
I think Bullet Train was like my favorite
Yeah.
movie of that year. Whenever that came out, 2022 or 2023, I can't remember. But that was like my favorite movie of the year.
Hell
I
yeah!
remember.
Great shit.
I love
man.
Bullet Train.
All right, so a movie that I think that we did all see, Ghostbusters: Frozen Empire.
I actually haven't seen that one.
Damn it, Jason.
I watched a solid 30 minutes of it before I got kind of bored.
I think my dad watched it. But
There we
I
go.
got he's not here. I can't ask him about it.
Get him on screen. No, I'm kidding. Okay,
Much better.
so you tried to watch Frozen Empire. Jason has not seen it. I'll give you the synopsis. All the Ghostbusters are back, minus the guy that passed away that we talked about in Afterlife, which was an absolutely amazing legacy sequel that I did not see coming for this franchise. I actually like it
Same.
more than the original. I thought it was a better way to tell the story, and rewatching it in 4K was an incredible experience. I just saw it a couple weeks ago, and yeah, it held up extremely well. And so going into Frozen Kingdom for a second time, I wanted to give like the highest praise rating I could, and I forgot the movie feels like it takes forever to get to basically nothing. Like they have this big bad, but he doesn't really do anything until like the last 10 minutes. So the movie's not so great.
That's what it felt like. I was kind of like, I was like, God, how long has this been? I was like, 30 minutes. I feel like nothing's even really happened. And then I was like, I'll come back to this. And then I just never did.
Yeah, Finn Wolfhard with Slimer, they talked about how he was just basically sidelined the whole movie. It's like he doesn't do anything, as opposed to the first movie where he's like a big part of it. I really liked the character development of each person. However, they had too many characters. Pitch Meeting pointed it out. He said like there's too many storylines going on, and in his very humorous way, like, and then you meet this character, and then you meet this character, and then you meet this character. He's like, but wait a second, we already have the whole cast. Why don't we focus on them? Nah, we have to learn about all these new people, like this ghost that's suddenly a human being. Like, what the fuck? There's so many
Yeah.
things. Yeah.
Trying too many things.
Yeah. They try to
Like
romance
you got the cast back. Like, what are you doing? Like, what is going on? What are you doing with this?
and
Yeah.
it
Especially
feels
the fact
like
that you got Bill Murray, who's impossible to get a hold of these days. You got him to show up. Use him.
Yeah. I know. I was like, dude, I was like, when are we gonna get Bill Murray in this movie?
best Bill Murray performance. What do you guys got?
Ooh.
Oh,
I mean, I always
Zombieland,
think
dude.
I was about to say, I always think of Zombieland.
Zombieland as well. Okay, we all
That's-
agree.
That's one of my favorite Bill Murray performances. It was just Bill Murray being Bill Murray. It's fucking great.
Playing
Obviously,
himself.
Scrooged is forever an all-time favorite. I love
Yeah.
Scrooged.
I've only seen
Um,
Groundhog Day as the most recent Bill Murray film,
Oh yeah, Groundhog Day is classic.
but I
Yeah,
love
I
him.
mean, just Bill Murray's just always good.
Truly, he's gifted. He's a
Oh,
funny
yeah.
guy too. So yeah,
He's like pizza. Even when it's bad, it's good. You know.
it could be cold, it could be warm, it could be anything. It's
Yeah.
delicious.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also agree with Jason. Like, it doesn't make any sense if you have the chance to work with somebody who's so hard to get a hold of. Why give them basically nothing to do? And so, like, having him in the movie for the little bit of time that they did, it was just not perfect. Not perfect by any means. Like I said, Afterlife raised my spirits for the entire like like franchise. I almost went and watched the female version of Ghostbusters because I was like, well, maybe I missed out on something, because if these are the guys that created this, they could create anything, you know? And so I missed it still, but I wanted to give this one more hope. And when I saw it in theaters, and now when I saw it at home, I was like, yeah, it's still like C minus D plus territory. It's just not.
It's still
Not
meh.
good. Yeah, meh. Exactly. And it's because of the villain. If you have a weak villain, you're not working with anything. They could have done the Puff guy again, and that would have been more exciting to watch instead of this random Frozen Empire shit. All right. So, the movie that we saw, hopefully, Godzilla and Kong. Did we all see this?
Yes, I did.
Oh yeah,
Thank God.
We finally got one. We got
one.
go fish. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. That's how it is. It is literally Go Fish.
Go ahead, Jason. Since you haven't really spoken much, go ahead.
Right. It's the continuation of this, the MonsterVerse version of Godzilla and King Kong and all that. This one is definitely my biggest criticism, because obviously I love the MonsterVerse, and then like not ironic, but like I know that they're not everybody's cup of tea, and they're not objectively good movies, but I love them because it's like watching a WWE match. If you're going in expecting high class art, you're coming in with the wrong expectations. But even considering that, I'm not super high on Godzilla X Kong because it's more of a King Kong movie, and I'm there for Godzilla. So I was just like, there's some parts in it that are pretty fun. I'm pretty sure at some point King Kong uses a smaller King Kong as a weapon. That was freaking hilarious. Just like nunchucked him around. The monster fights were cool and stuff, but everything else in between, I'm like, I'd much rather watch them fight each other than team up again.
Yeah. I can agree with the very campiness of it. I mean, just the trailer alone, it felt like I was watching the Avengers. Like, you know, he's coming out with the new glove that he got, his power glove. I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me here. Like, what the hell are we doing? Overall, I felt like it is Skong. It's Skull Island Part 2. That's how it felt like. It felt like more of a King Kong movie. And Godzilla's cool. I do like the fight scenes. There's some great action. Allison and I saw this in a wonderfully packed theater. We had our food in front of us, and the speakers for some reason were turned up like 10 decibels higher than usual. So when the movie started and he started like ripping shit apart off of the bat, I was like, oh God, this is a horrible way to start. Okay, I'm gonna have to finish my sandwich right now.
Yeah,
it was just so loud. What about you, Kyle? What'd you think?
I mean, this was like probably my least favorite of this franchise. I feel like these movies started off so good and just got it, like the very first, like Godzilla 2014, I thought was great, and then Kong Skull Island, I enjoyed that a lot. King of the Monsters, loved it. That's probably my favorite one of the franchise. And then the first Godzilla vs. Kong movie, thought it was great. They both took on Mechagodzilla. That was fantastic. It was the brain of what was it, King Ghidorah?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I thought that was a great plot point, but that's when they started getting a little silly. And like just the human characters were just kind of silly. Whereas like I think King of the Monsters was like my favorite, where like the human plot was great. I mean, the first Godzilla too, the human plot I thought was great. Like you really cared about these characters and like their little storyline and how they're like intertwined. But then once you kind of got to like the Godzilla and King Kong ones, it's just, I don't know why they made those ones just so silly when they could have been so epic. You know what I mean? Like you said, it was very Avengers-y. Like he got this new weapon for his. Like it was just kind of like the zero gravity fight is where I really was just like, oh my fucking God, what is happening right now? Seeing Godzilla just doing flips in the air, like he's so fucking acrobatic. Like
now that you point out that wonderful plot line that I completely forgot existed, I do have to give props to another movie on my list that also has a zero gravity fight and how they do it so much better, because I forgot that they did that in Zong. I swear to God, I'm creating Godzilla and Kong. Yeah, I feel like I forgot most of the movie. I think that's how bad it is. It's like in first time you see something, if you come back and have like some kind of emotional reaction, then you'll usually remember the film. I didn't really have that
Yeah.
much of a reaction besides this movie was too loud, or this part was extremely violent for PG-13, or like, why is this happening? I don't remember the plot. And if I don't remember a plot, I give the movie a D. I can't.
Yeah.
It looked great. It was really well made. The sound effects were awesome. That's about it. Oh, the human characters. That one dude with the fucking helicopter. He's like, "I got you." That was funny as hell. I like that. That I do remember.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
The humans in this one were just completely fucking forgettable. Like I forgot about. Like I remember there was like that little bit of love interest or something, but I don't even. It just to me it was a lot of it was forgettable. The thing that stuck out to me was that zero gravity fight because I'm like they're making Godzilla dance in the air while he's fighting. This is insane. Like how how do we go from like feeling the scale of Godzilla and his like slowness and like still like being like heavy and hard hitting, just really feeling that scale to now we're seeing him doing flips in the air and like running like so fast and like, I'm like how do we get to this?
Right.
So I don't know. I don't like that. I'm a big fan of continuity and like keeping the same type of vibe and atmosphere and like physics that have been established.
Yeah. And MonsterVerse is not doing a good job of continuity. I actually watched that Monarch show. Totally just threw continuity out the window. There's shit in there that makes no sense. So if you watch the movies that they're based off of, it's like, are we even trying anymore? What do you mean there's like a time dilation thing that has never popped up in any of the movies?
No.
Yeah, they were definitely, but at least the thing about Monarch is like the vibe of it. I feel like is more. It aligns more with like Skull Island and King of the Monsters, which I liked. I liked that it aligned with that, and like it made Godzilla mysterious. Like I liked a lot of what they did. But yeah, once at the end when they go in this time dilation thing, I'm like, oh, that's really interesting. That hasn't ever been spoken of. Or wait, did they talk about that in this new one though? I feel like they did touch on
not
that.
at all. I was looking for it too because I'm like, if this doesn't pop up in the next movie, I'm gonna be annoyed. And then it didn't pop up in the movie. Like, all right, well, I'm annoyed now.
Yeah, I couldn't remember if they touched on that or not. But yeah, I agree. Once that show kind of landed on that, I was kind of like, oh, that's interesting. How are they going to carry that? Is that going to carry in the movies? So I don't know. I did, like I said, I liked a bunch of these movies, but this one was just really, this is way too silly.
Now, I think that they could actually change our minds on things if they use the nostalgia factor that Sonic is currently going with. So here's my mindset, right? We're all GameCube kids. We all remember the great times that we, played Godzilla Destroy All Monsters. What if that's the next movie? What if that's what they're going for? Like they just want to make them fighting characters. I wouldn't be against it. I'll watch a whole movie where I literally see everything that I saw in that old game and, have it in modern day, just like hearing Live and Learn in the new Sonic movie was just unbelievable. And spoiler alert for the later discussion, but like that was unbelievable. I was like, are we really doing this? We're actually going to hear and see things that we thought could never be, shown again. Like it just seemed like it was just part of that time period. It was in a capsule. Like here's GameCube, and now we move on to Wii and everything else.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they could save it because obviously Godzilla -1 was fantastic, and if they were to go with more of that kind of tone and have Godzilla be more neutral and like have him just fighting more monsters and in a way that's just a little more physically realistic and not as fucking over the top. It doesn't need to be over the top. It just needs to look cool and feel that scale. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That's all that's important to me. And like, I feel like we've completely lost the scale, like with the last two movies, especially the last one. You still had it a little bit in the first Godzilla Kong movie, but this one is just like out the window.
Speaking of scale and size, the biggest thing I had an issue with is that the trailer promised us you were going to get this huge monkey. and he was like, just a little bit bigger than Kong, and I was like,
Yeah.
but his handprint alone, like Kong could fit in the hand. Like what is the size of the monkey you were looking at? Like, was this a miniaturized version that we got for the film because it was too scary because it was too big? Like, I wanted like some kind of giant, but at the same time I wanted to see how that looked to human beings as opposed to the monsters that are already big. Because when you put something humongous, like Allison's 5 foot, I put her next to a 7 foot basketball player, and you're like, wow, that's a huge difference. And then you put me in the middle, who's 6 foot, and then she's not so short anymore. It's just like, oh, it's just a foot shorter, not a big deal. It killed the whole experience of like, this is a big bad monkey. And I didn't feel anything like the terror factor that I got from Skull Island. Like, I felt like those monsters could literally kill me. Like, even though they were playing comedy into it, like they did a lot of good comedy. I was like, this if this was directed by a horror director, you could make something ferocious for Kong. Like, this is awesome. Like, the designs, the way that they all have the teeth are very sharp and scary, and it's Jurassic Park, it was cool. So this just didn't do it for me either. So we all unanimously agree that this is the one of the worst of the franchise, and it's sad because we really enjoyed some part of the last three, whether it was Skull Island or it was King of the Monsters. Most people don't talk about Godzilla versus Kong because it's barely in the movie. The whole thing is the Mecha Godzilla part. That's what we all come back remembering. Like, oh my god, did you see that?
Yeah, that was rad. Like, them teaming up on Mecha Godzilla, that was the most memorable part of that movie. That's what, if it wasn't for that, if they did a completely different plot line or something, I don't think that movie would have done as well.
No, I don't think so. And that's why they probably were like, well, we have to do something. They can't just fight the whole movie. And it's like,
leading into Mecha Godzilla, I thought was really cool because at first I'm like, wait, what are they doing? I was like, are they doing what I think they're doing? Like, I liked that. I liked that. Like, it wasn't just given to you in the beginning of the movie. Like, we're building Mecha Godzilla. Like, it was kind of like you're getting this progression and you're putting pieces together and you're like, oh, I think they're building Mecha Godzilla, and then you learn they are, and you're like, oh, that's fucking cool.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know. And you felt, like I said, you felt the scale more of that. So if they go back to that, I think the movies would do better.
Yes, I agree. All right, Jason, since you're a master of Godzilla, what is your favorite modern Godzilla movie? Is it Godzilla -1?
Oh yeah. Definitely.
I really have to see it.
It's so good.
Oh, you haven't watched it yet, Dan?
I have not seen that film. I know.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
I totally thought we talked about it. I thought you did. Oh man, you need to watch it, dude. That is easily probably the best Godzilla movie in the past 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I love to hear it. I love to hear it because I'm so late. So late. Dude, I missed the King Kong movie with Jack Black.
Oh dang.
I
Dude,
totally
that was
missed
a
it.
decent movie. That was a decent Kong movie.
Yeah. I also missed
it's
Skull
still
Island.
a fun watch.
I didn't even see Skull Island until I saw King of the Monsters. And I was like, oh yeah, there was a movie before. That's right. Let me watch this. And I was like, holy shit, this is so much better. So much better than I thought it was going to be.
Skull Island's great, man. I think Skull Island's kind of underrated.
Yeah. And he's ferocious in that. That's why it's like, they have to have an intimidation factor. You can't be like, these are superheroes. And they're transforming everything. That's just Transformers, G.I. Joe, which all are going to combine in the future because of Beast War Morphers, whatever the hell they were called. Rise of the Beasts. Yeah, like they had that combination. And spoilers for anyone that hasn't seen the newest Transformer.
Don't even get me started on that. Let's move on.
All right. The next movie I saw was one of my favorite films of 2024, and that is The Fall Guy with Ryan Gosling. An amazing stunt work film just full of weird, awkward romance scenes, an incredible soundtrack. Thanks to the incredible band Kiss, we got to hear the song I Was Made for Loving You in basically every way that you possibly can, including a sad version. This movie has the best action I've ever seen of the year. I think it still holds up as one that I could rewatch and be like, how the hell did they do that? And how do I know when the stunt guy is there? Like, they were very, very focused on this film. So did you guys see it?
I love Fall Guy. I thought Fall Guy was fantastic.
You loved
I
it?
have not seen it.
Jason, no! Like, I have your list in front of me and I completely forget about everything you've seen. But okay, so why did you think it was fantastic, Kyle? What was your favorite part, if you can?
Well, I mean, um, Ryan Gosling really shined in this movie. I think he just had fun, and you can tell that he had fun. He was very authentic. Um, and he was an action star. Like he's done some action stuff, but he's not a big act. He's not known for being an action actor. And this one, I think this really put him on the map for that. Um, like he was fucking ripped in it. He looked great. He was funny, charismatic. Like just he still showed that Ryan Gosling emotion that those puppy dog fucking Ryan Gosling eyes. It was and then the rest of the cast I thought was good, and the plot line was good. There was even some twists in there that I
Didn't
don't
see coming.
think I saw coming. Like
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's cool. I was thinking, I mean, I guess it didn't like throw me off that much, but I was definitely like, oh, I wonder if this is gonna happen, and then it did, and I was like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah. I also love that it basically never takes itself seriously. Like the whole
Yeah,
movie.
it did not take itself too seriously. It took itself serious enough, which I thought was perfect.
Yeah. The fake out, I won't spoil it because Jason hasn't seen it, but the fake out that they did, I was like, I'm gonna wait 3 minutes. Yep, called it.
Yeah. And then the ending was just so satisfying.
It
Like
really
it
was. Yeah.
it was what you wanted. You're like, Awesome. That's you love what they chose, because like you have a few different ways that they're gonna go about this, and the way that they did was like, it was exactly what it needed to be.
Yes. And for PG-13, they did a lot of really well like choreographed action. Like
Yeah.
Jason, if you see the fight scenes just alone, like I want to watch them in slow motion. There's so much
Dude, the
going
fight
on.
scenes were fantastic.
They're so good, and they're just funny because Ryan Gosling has the timing. He uses his timing from The Nice Guys with Russell Crowe. Like
Yeah.
you could just feel
Yeah,
that
yeah.
vibe. Like he's having fun. Like you were saying, you could see that he was happy to be there, happy to be on set that day. And they talk about movie sets and they focus on people that usually get overlooked, and the whole movie is an ode to the stuntmen. It's like really just a tremendous film for everyone, and you can watch it with your family, you can watch it with your wife, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, you can watch it with anyone, and it's really just a good time. Like and it's one of the best movies. I couldn't believe it. I was so happy when I left. Allison and I, we were like, that was awesome.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, really good time. But the next movie I literally picked up today in stores. This is one of the only Disney movies that finally understood what heart, care, and passion means when you write a script and you actually focus on making a sequel that complements an original story that you created, and that is Inside Out 2. What a movie. All right, what do you guys think of Inside Out 2?
So I had this very similar experience that I had with this one that I had with the last Pixar movie I think I saw, where I wasn't all the way in until about the halfway point, and then it completely sold me. Then I was just like, all right, you hooked me in. So I had a little bit of issues with the first half, but by the time we got to like the crazy emotional panic attack stuff at the end, I was like, oh yeah, nope, Pixar has finally picked up steam again. Finally, here we go. Like this is great.
Yes, in a world where we can actually make animation about emotions, they figured out the emotional capability to manipulate the audience without being disingenuous. They actually manipulated us to feel what we should feel as human beings. Instead of seeing her as a 13-year-old girl dealing with puberty and all kinds of other things, we saw her as a human being with flaws that we can all say in our own lives that we felt that before, and the amount of pressure that she was feeling and the way that she was throwing her own like issues into the back of her mind. I was like, this is creative. And I was like, I know what's going to happen, but this is creative. I like where this is going. And there was just this self-aware humor. The voice cast that replaced the original, I thought they did great. I didn't even notice anyone was out of place at all. And the new characters were great too. I absolutely love, what's the one that wears the hoodie?
Oh, Embarrassment.
Embarrassment. Oh my God. Love that character. So good. But yeah, Kyle, did you see this one?
I actually did. I wanted to because this came out the same weekend as like something else too. But I remember I just started a new job, so I didn't really have a lot of time at during this time. But I had coworkers. I remember they were talking about it and they all loved it. So I heard nothing but good things. So I definitely need it. I definitely need to check it out. I mean, I thought the first one's fantastic. So I'm really happy to hear that the second one holds up as well. Because I know what you mean, Jason. Like I remember when Soul came out, and I had really high hopes for that one. I really thought that one was going to be like really good, and it turned out to be kind of just meh.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, I really wanted, because I saw that one in, I think I saw that in theaters. Maybe I just watched it on streaming.
I think it was
just remember.
streaming. Yeah, it's when
Oh yeah,
around the
Pandemic.
time Pixar
Yeah.
was only
That's right.
streaming.
Yeah, it was pandemic time. That's right. That's right. So I went in just wanting to feel something, and I remember when it was done, I was like, I didn't really do much.
Uh-huh.
I really kind of wanted more from that. Like it was fine. It wasn't bad, but it was just,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I remember
Didn't hit you.
Yeah, I remember we had a conversation when we did our podcast on movies that year, and I think it was my sister and Richard who were both like, "Is there something wrong with me that I didn't enjoy this? Because I see people out there who really like this, and I just didn't." And then like starting to have an existential crisis about that. But I don't think you're the only one out there. I think there's some people that were like really mixed on like some of Pixar's most recent stuff too.
Part of me kind of feels like maybe it is just kind of meant to hit a crowd that, I don't know, that is just kind of on a different level. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? An audience that maybe doesn't need stuff to be as profound, or like, I don't know. I don't want to sound shitty, but just simpler minds.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we did
Yeah,
get Turning Red.
You know?
Turning
Yeah.
Red was a movie. It was a movie. I didn't even see it, and I could tell you that I have no interest. I would not relate to a little girl going crazy for a boy band. I would not have any idea how to relate to that.
Pretty red. That's the one that's the one with she turns into a big red panda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think at the time I had an ex-girlfriend who watched that, and she really liked it because I think she, as a girl, like that's definitely the female audience was definitely, that's who that was made for. And I heard that it was almost like a metaphor for
Your period.
your period, and like going through all of that kind of stuff, which I'm like, oh, I guess that's, that's kind of that's a good thing to have for girls for sure.
Yeah.
But also like, it's not
Not for
it's not
everybody.
meant for us at all.
No.
But yeah, anyways, I'm glad that this movie did well.
Yeah.
Yeah, excruciatingly well, like breaking records well.
Yeah, Inside Out 2 is, I think, the most successful sequel in Pixar besides Toy Story 2. I would say that, like, if you were looking at how these stories actually go with continuity, like you were saying before, Inside Out 2 is almost perfect. Almost perfect. Like, there's
Love
little
that.
moments where I'm missing what I loved about the original, because the original just has this sweetness to it, this innocence, especially from the first scene. That's like something that I will never forget, is the first time seeing Inside Out and being like, are we seeing a baby's point of view? Are we seeing a toddler's point of, like, whoa, like I'm getting chills just thinking about it right now. And the music that they chose, it's all, created to get that like emotional vibe that you're supposed to get from a Pixar movie. But like this one, they really focus on hockey. So some people get turned off right away. They're like, I don't like anything about hockey. Why would I watch 20 minutes of them playing? And I'm like, I mean, how they're doing it is actually pretty impressive. They're incorporating parts of it as well as the game that's going on. They're talking about how each of her emotions has changed and the islands have changed. And it's just like this maturity. Like you understand that things have changed. And then the game ends and then it moves on to something that you did not see coming. And then you just get these surprise after surprise after surprise. And as Jason said, around the halfway point, you are realizing what you're going to encounter. And the way they do it, extremely satisfying, and it's pure Disney. It's magic. It's Pixar at its best. It seems like everyone in the cast was 100% on for this movie, which was so nice to see. I liked Elemental, like really liked it, But rewatching Elemental versus rewatching Inside Out 2 knocks it out of the park. So the next movie that I have on my list that I saw from 2024 is If, which stands for Imaginary Friend. And it is a tremendous emotional journey of a film made for families, made for kids, and made for those adults that just want to feel like kids again. It is literally the closest thing that any studio has come to the emotional impact of Pixar. And how perfect that I saw it like the week or two after I saw Inside Out, so I could compare the feelings that I had for both movies and felt that same like magic from it. It felt magical by the end of it, and the way that they portrayed these imaginary friends, these ifs, and just gave them these personalities, and they're all voice acting like legends. Like every single one of them is an A-list actor. And by the time you're finishing the movie, you want to watch the credits just so you can figure out who it was that was talking at each point. Some of them are obvious, but then the other ones you're like, oh my gosh, he's in this. Like, it's so cool. And overall, it is like if you had the best form of a child's imagination for just 30 minutes, that's what this movie is altogether. They just stretch it out as much as they can, saying, how do you deal with grief? What would a kid that doesn't want to be a kid anymore feel after they've had to deal with grief by themselves for so long? And how would they choose to look at the world after dealing with that grief? So it's all this really dark stuff, but it has this really light, humorous side. And Steve Carell plays one of these giant ifs, and he's funny as hell. The voicing for everything, it's perfect. And it has humor and self-awareness and a bit of crude irritation from Ryan Reynolds' character, but I thought it did fit by the end, and I understood where they were hiding these little Easter eggs to get to where we finally finish out, and we're like, oh, that's why. Oh, okay, that makes sense. So either way, if you have not seen If, I highly recommend it. It is a really good time, and it really will make you smile, which is a movie that is necessary these days. It's good to just watch one that you just put on that big bright smile, and you're just like, I love this. It feels great. It is sappy. If you're not into sappy stuff, it's probably not the best. So if you're like, I want more realistic stuff, I mean, it's an imaginary friend movie. What did you think you were getting?
Dude, I mean, you sold me. It sounds great, especially dealing with grief. I dealt with grief when I was like 13.
Oh,
so
yeah,
like,
that would be perfect. Probably relatable in some places.
Yeah, this sounds like a movie that's really up my alley. And it's Ryan Reynolds. I love anything Ryan Reynolds, and the rest of the cast sounds cool. I'm excited to watch it. I'm not even going to look at IMDb and find out who's in it. I kind of want to, like you said, watch and try to pick out voices and then watch the credits at the end. I feel like that's going to be like half the fun. So I'll definitely add that to my list because I wanted to watch it. It just flew under for me. So I'm going to definitely circle back around for that one.
Love it. Yeah, I could say there's 3 things that sold me on John Krasinski. 1, The Office. 2, A Quiet Place. And 3, If. He does so good in this movie, and he's the director. This is his very non-horror. Yeah, and he's really good at it. Great writing as well. Just it feels real in its own world. Kind of like, imagine if A Bridge to Terabithia didn't have that sad shit. Or if it did, it started out with the sad shit and then just went.
Yeah, I love the sad shit in that movie.
You like
I thought that was great.
You were like,
oh yeah.
You were like, yes, wow, I'm so happy that happened.
Yeah, I love that, dude. I don't know why. I'm a sucker when like I'm like, damn, that's so sad. I didn't see that coming. Like,
soul crushing.
I kind of love that shit. I don't know, because it's real. Because I guess it's because I experienced that when I was young, and it's just like that's real. That's some real life shit.
Yeah. So okay, this is what I could relate it to. So it has the charm of Wonka.
Oh, okay.
If has the charm of Wonka. Yeah, you just feel like you're in this fantasy territory, but also like these characters like matter so much to the story.
Yeah.
And I
That's good.
loved the little girl that was the main actress in the whole film. She did excellent for her age. She was able to portray every single emotion that she needed to, and even the dance numbers. Like it just seemed like she was having a good time, even though she was looking definitely at a lot of blue screen because of Steve Carell being a CGI monster. Like you can't easily see people. You're not seeing that, but the sweetness that they come with each character and their abstract design, it like doesn't even phase you by the end. You're just like, that's just an if. And that's what I love about
Interesting.
it.
Cool.
You accept it. So if go out and see it, I give it a B plus. Highly recommend.
Nice.
Not perfect in any means. I can say it's still a kids movie. It's definitely a little sappy, a little too sappy at times. They do a little throw off thing where you're like, oh my God, what could happen? And if Kyle understands where I'm coming from on this, we did it with the Fall Guy. Wait 3 minutes. It's not a big deal anymore. Like they always do these things in movies and I can't stand it. Like, please stop doing this. If you're going to commit to it, just let it happen. And that I will have to bring that up for Moana too as well. It's just getting terribly irritating.
Yeah.
It's just like, please stop doing this. This is just manipulation. So got John Krasinski. I was just talking about praising him for his incredible work with If. He was not involved in the most recent iteration of his creation, which is A Quiet Place, Day One. I saw this film in theaters with Allison, and I really enjoyed it. Did you guys see this one?
I wanted to, but I missed it. But it's still on my list because I want to like watch it and then watch the other Quiet Places because I love those movies. Any excuse to just rewatch those movies. I'm a sucker for just if I have either nights in a row or same day can watch movies in a row. I like doing that. Just when everything's super fresh in your mind and you catch little things, it makes it just a better experience for me.
There you go. No, I missed this one as well too. There's a lot of really good movies that I just didn't get the chance to see. I did not see a lot of movies this year. I think I only got 24 that I saw on my list, which is a lot less than it typically is. But I also had a lot of life stuff that kind of happened last year, so like going to the movies became really tough.
Yeah, and that
Fair enough.
is real. That's real, man. I mean, most people are not living my lifestyle where, you're still with your family and you're working your full-time job, but you're also able to handle all these hobbies like it's no big deal. Like I'm in the safety net, and I know the safety net only lasts so long, and I have to do this independent thing. And when that happens, all of this free time and going out and buying things, it's all going to be in the past. And I'm happy for the time that I have with it. And I hope that I can share it with my kids, all the things that I collected. Otherwise, I spent thousands of dollars for no reason. Like, as
We don't have generational wealth, but we have this giant pile of movies over here. That's got to be worth something.
You can't use the plugs anymore, but this used to work for the DVD player.
Right?
What's a DVD player? Don't worry about it. It's next to the Blu-rays. What are Blu-rays? Just go to your room.
Go to your room.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be a rude awakening, as they say. It's just gonna be this whole different world. So I always appreciate hearing the reality that sets in on most people's lives, where they say, "Oh, Dan, I couldn't see 45 movies last year because I have things going on." I'm like, "Oh yeah, that makes sense."
That's why I co-host with Richard, because he doesn't have kids, he doesn't have that. He has animals, so he can see all the movies that I didn't get to see. So I get to live vicariously through him and my sister.
Love it. All right, well, I will give you the plot synopsis. Day one of A Quiet Place, pretty simple and easy structure. You're going from the first day that the aliens happen to fall down onto our wonderful planet Earth, and the reality sets in that there is no escape from these monsters, and you get to see how people are first encountering the sound issue, where if you make a sound, then you're gone. And the first scene is very tense, and it's very good. And I thought that was all they were going to focus on. Instead, they really focused on this one young woman that did extremely well. I can't remember the name of the actress. She was amazing. And the whole movie, we're following her and her cat. And then we end up finding the gentleman that played Eddie from Stranger Things. And there are two protagonists that keep us interested in the movie. But there's one specific scene, and I won't spoil it because it's just so damn good, that it shows what happens even in a moment of terror where things seem hopeless, as humans can make such subtle hints at just the humanity that we have within ourselves. We can have this optimistic turn, and the way that the movie does it and this sweetness that comes from it has the same emotional quality as Inside Out 2 and If. And I did not see that coming for a Quiet Place movie. Like that was the last thing I expected. I expected walking up the stairs and stepping on a nail shit, and that did not usually happen. There were a few moments where it was little jump scares here and there, but like the torture and the pain that the family goes through in the sequels, this one is more of the connection between humans going against these monsters and adapting to the new environment that has been now taken over by something they've never encountered before. It was very impressive, and the special effects are great. I do not like to see the monsters in daylight, though. That is a major flaw with this movie. So I put it down to an A minus. That's right. I'm keeping it at an A, but I'm putting it down to
Oh,
an
it's
A
still in A
minus.
territory though. Okay, cool. I definitely want to check it out then.
Yeah,
Yeah, I heard it
highly
was really
recommend.
good.
Yes, and it's just the
I remember
humanity.
my sister going to see it, and she's like, "There's a cat in here. I want to know if the cat is okay. I'm stressed about the cat more than the humans in this entire movie."
Did she
Yeah,
see
fair
Argyle?
I don't know if she did. I don't think she did.
Thank God. Not because of the cat happening to be bad or anything, but they make it CG because the things that the cat does in the movie are so fucking insane that it has to not be a real cat.
Right?
But yeah, no, A Quiet Place, really good, really, really good. Next movie I saw was Twisters. Did you guys see Twisters?
Yeah, Twisters.
Almost.
Twisters was fun.
Twister Sisters.
I was gonna watch this one on my plane back from Tennessee, but timing it out, I would have missed the last like 20 minutes. I'm like, no, I'll just watch this at home because I don't want to watch all the movie and then have to try and catch up to where I was when I get back at home. And then I just completely ran out of time.
That is the way it goes.
Yep,
But you are planning on seeing it.
I was.
I enjoyed the movie for what it was, but there's one thing about it that was hit on a personal level where I went with the girl that I've been seeing, and the main girl in the movie, her name is Kate,
Lost Internet.
and that name
There we go.
is my ex-girlfriend's name.
Wait.
So seeing that movie with a current girlfriend, it's just my ex-girlfriend's name the whole time. And they're just saying it. They don't even have to say the name, but they're just saying it the whole time. And I'm just like, oh gosh, like,
Yeah,
do you
don't
guys
they
have
know?
to keep saying her name?
Yeah. What's the,
Yeah, I'm like,
what's their
guys, we know her
problem?
name is Kate. You don't have to just keep saying. Oh well, what does Kate think? Like, that's my like memory of that movie. But it had I mean, what's his name has become one of my favorites.
Glenn Powell.
Glenn Powell. Yeah. I love Glenn Powell. He's always just so entertaining. He was probably my favorite part of the movie.
He won me over on that movie as well. I was like, for the first time ever, I finally understood what girls are talking about in this generation. I was like, he's a charmer. He's like,
Oh yeah.
he's got that charisma. He seems like the good guy. And when I saw him as the dick in Maverick, I was like,
Oh yeah.
I feel like he's not like that. And so seeing him as a charmer, I'm like, that's the role I expected.
Oh yeah, where he's still like a little douchey, but like you love him.
Yeah,
Like anyone but you. Did you watch that one?
I did
I think
not.
that came out last year. I think that came out
Allison saw
last year
that.
too.
Yeah, it did. It did. Did you see it?
Yeah, anyone but you. That was honestly one of my favorite comedies that came out last year. I love that movie.
Wow. Okay. Well,
Yeah,
why
that movie
it
was
your favorite?
actually really good. Even what's her name? Sydney
Sweeney.
Sydney
Sweeney. That was my introduction to her, and I was like, oh my god. And then she like totally blew up after that.
Yeah.
But yeah, big fan. Love that movie. Actually, it was a lot of fun.
And Glenn Powell's having his moment right now. That's for sure.
Indeed.
He truly is. He truly is. And but yeah, so yeah, he made Twisters in my opinion. I thought it was a decent remake. Even though there's really there's really only one really big like gnarly Twister moment.
Mhm.
But It was fine.
Kyle, as someone who works in hospitality, I can't tell you how happy I was to watch the Karens at that front desk when the tornado was about to hit that small town. And the way that those people reacted, where they're not listening to anyone who's actually giving them guidance to stay alive, and then they all get sucked into a fucking tornado. I was laughing so hard.
Yeah.
I was laughing so hard, dude. I was like, yes, suck it.
That's right. I forgot. I forgot about that.
That was my favorite scene after that because of the intense in the pool scene. That was like
Oh
the
yeah,
coolest.
that pool scene was pretty good.
Yeah, impressive for the amount of tension that I felt. It was like the first part of the movie. They had that big tension at that moment when we're underneath the highway and we're trying to survive with this person, and I was like, I don't think this is gonna go well. And then they play with your mind, and you're like, oh, this is okay. They're fine. And then all of a sudden, it's like, oh, so good, so good. I like tornadoes. I've always been a fan. Don't want to see one in real life. Thank you very much.
But yeah, the fact that it exists, like the fact, like you watch these things and they look like in a movie and they feel science fiction. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
They feel science fictional. You're like, God, these things exist on our planet in certain areas.
Right?
it's so
These
true.
giant cyclones from the sky form and literally rip shit off like out of the ground. Like
Crazy.
that's when I was watching that movie, I was thinking about that. I'm like, this seems like we're watching this movie about this giant thing. It makes it feel like it's so supernatural.
Yeah,
And then you have to like sit and remember and tell yourself like, oh shit, no, this is real. This is a real thing that happens on our planet.
yeah. They of
And it's
course
crazy.
exaggerate it in the films that they do, like Into the Storm and Day After
Yeah.
Tomorrow. They have to make it as over
Yeah.
dramatic as possible, otherwise people don't have that same fear. But seeing one in real life, most people say they don't want to see it again. Like they've had their
Yeah.
share. They don't want to
No,
see
I heard that they are like
roofs.
people that have seen them. It's terrifying.
Yeah.
And I feel like this movie did a good job about making them seem natural in the beginning,
Mhm.
where there's chasing the storms and trying to make it like, it's not that scary. It's like it is scary, but it's not that scary. Like, okay, yeah, it's it's a storm. It happens. It's part of our nature and our weather and blah blah blah. But then it gets scary and gnarly, and then you start feeling that fear and seeing that the heaviness of it, and you're like, oh, right, it is scary.
Yeah. Yeah, the reality sets in eventually, and that's what I really liked about Glenn Powell's character in this movie, which I highly recommend you guys go and see. It is a C plus if you're talking about movie standards, but if you're talking about enjoyment, I can say a B minus is what I pushed it up to. Had a really good time with it, really good characters. I felt for everyone by the end. I was like, okay, I like what they're doing with this, and Glenn Powell steals the show as one of the most empathetic characters by the end, and I was impressed because the first time you see him, like you said, he's got that douchey kind of attitude, and it just changes his character.
That douchey
develops. Yeah, he
You
really
hate,
works.
you hate to love him.
You hate
Love
to love
hate
him.
him.
It was great, and yeah, it was fantastic. Now we can go to a movie that we all saw because I don't want Jason to feel left out anymore. Jason, do you want to summarize? I know it's got like 16 plots, but do you want to summarize Deadpool and Wolverine?
Oh man, yeah, what a movie. Yeah. Yeah, Deadpool Wolverine. That one was a lot of fun. It was the first time I felt like in a long time where it's like, oh right. I used to be hyped for the MCU. This is what that feeling is again. Like obviously not a perfect movie, but still so much fun. One of those movies where like I felt I had to see it as soon as I could because everybody was talking about it. So many great jokes, so many good character moments too. And of course the nostalgia, the cameos and all that stuff was pretty fun. And of course the endless memes that came out of it was also just great. Yeah, full of surprises, full of great moments. Really fun to see these two characters finally on screen together, considering how often they've been like teasing each other back and forth in a fun, playful way to finally see it culminate. And I kind of was surprised that it was like became almost like a tribute to 20th Century Fox and all of the old like X-Men movies and stuff and all that whole thing's like I didn't see that coming, but I thought that was a really good angle for them to play as well too. Sometimes being a little serious and sometimes in a joking way, but kind of jumping the balance there. I thought was really fun.
Yeah. Did you stay for the end credits?
Absolutely.
So you got to see all of the like everything that was going on behind the
Yep.
scenes with the Fox universe, and it was so cool, and it actually did get me almost tearing up because I was thinking about it like that's our childhood heroes. Like the kids
Yeah.
these days, they got the MCU. Great for them.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Except for Phase 5, 6, and whatever else is going to happen and just ruin everything. But
Dang
like,
kids don't know how well you have it back in my day. We got one superhero movie every 6 years if we were lucky.
yeah, we got X-Men Origins Wolverine. Woo. Yeah, we didn't know if we were going to get absolute shit or a freaking amazing movie. And until Iron Man, we had pretty much no hope. We didn't know
Right?
what we were in for. Even Spider-Man, by the third movie, we were like, oh, okay. That's it.
Yep.
I'm done. But no, this was a really interesting take on time travel. Not time travel. Multiverse. I like the multiverse stuff in this. I like that it's very self-aware. It's poking fun at it. I loved being in a theater with people that were full on into the story again. You know, it is an event when you have a good Marvel movie where everybody comes out and goes to see it. And this one had the Andrew Garfield No Way Home moment with Chris Evans showing up as Human Torch. A phenomenal joke. Like, did
so
not
good.
see it coming, and the way that he's just cussing so much more, and it's like, oh, okay, this definitely isn't Cap.
Dude,
Falls onto the side. Fuck.
I can't tell you how happy that made me that Chris Evans agreed to come back and cameo as Human Torch, which I should have seen coming. I don't know why. I'm thinking like, what the fuck? They got Captain America for this? And then the fact that he comes Human Torch, I just was like, I was hitting myself. I'm like, I can't believe I didn't think like he's Human Torch. Like they totally got me with that, which is so dumb because I'm like, I was the person back in the day when he was first cast as he's Human Torch. He can't be Captain America. So I was just like, how did I not see that he, you know, it's all these 20th Century Fox like cameos. Like we got Elektra, we got Blade. Like it's just, we finally got Gambit.
I know,
like,
right?
Channing Tatum Gambit. Like this movie was so much fun, and it was everything it needed to be, and it was also still being classic Deadpool, making fun of. You know, basically they're making fun of the MCU going this whole universe, you know, cross universe route, like, you know, how the Spider-Man movies did it, you know. Like they obviously did that to be self-aware, to make fun of the movies doing that, but while also being like, hey, it's a great way to pay homage to all these, you know, all these original superhero movies, Daredevil, Elektra, the Blades, the Fantastic Four, everything that came, you know, before the MCU.
Yeah.
So yeah, and the X-Men stuff. Like it was even, I would say the weakest part of this movie was the villain. I feel like they could have
Cassandra.
They could have gotten a better villain. Like I don't like the way it was fine.
Yeah.
Everything else was so good that it's hard to really complain about it, but it's for sure my biggest, I guess, gripe was the villain just was kind of lackluster.
Yeah. Jason, you have any harsh criticisms towards this movie that is fan service 100%?
Right. I think the movie spent a lot of time like building up how shit Wolverine is, or this version of Wolverine is, and when we finally get the reveal of what he did that makes him like the worst version of this character that we've ever seen, is like, oh, that's it, he just kind of like ran away and everyone died. Like I thought like the way they were hyping it up made it seem like, nah, he like murdered everybody or something, but it's like it seemed a little lackluster, like what it was building up towards, only for it to be kind of just like, he just kind of just is a little bit of a coward sometimes.
He just fucked off. Yeah. And I agree. I thought it was like, I really thought he got like manipulated or mind controlled or just
Yeah, same.
you know, which they could have done that. They could have gone deep and like Emma Frost put this mind thing on me and I thought I was fucking up Sentinels and turns out I was fucking up
That would have
the
been
X-Men.
so much better. So much better. Okay, so here's my biggest gripe with it. Every single film class ever teaches you about show, don't tell. And this movie specifically focuses on the tell argument. Oh, he's just going to be by these giant stones that we're going to call the gravestones, but he hears all of the things that he did wrong. I don't want to fucking. No, show me. Show me his
Yeah.
big mistake. Show me how bad this turned out for them. This is a rated R comic book movie. There is literally nothing to censor here. And they chose to completely pull the punch on it. And I was like, damn, but they did a really good job on just the story beats of Wolverine and giving him that development to take the worst version and then make him a hero by the end of the story because of Deadpool's shenanigans and actual heart that they focused on from the first movie. I was like, okay, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
They also did those little flashbacks when they're holding each other and fucking Madonna's singing. Like, you know, like everything was really well done with that. And all the other stuff, it seemed like they were just like pulling it. They were like, oh, well, we could do that, but this movie's too long, so we're just going to cut that out. We don't need to show anybody anything that could be impactful to this actual story that Wolverine went through. We're just going to tell you about it and move on to Deadpool again. And my biggest issue with a Deadpool movie, and this keeps happening now, and I am not a big fan of Ryan Reynolds. I'm going to say, I'm not going to bring up the whole lawsuit shit that's going on with another movie that I'll be discussing, but I will say he is in the wrong in so many territories right now in Hollywood. But I am not going to hold it against him. As Deadpool, he is great. I love Deadpool. I've always loved his version of him, and I will always see Deadpool as Ryan Reynolds, Deadpool, same thing. So when I got many characters in Deadpool's movie telling him to shut the fuck up, I was really upset about that. Because, like, any other character, they're the main character. And Deadpool became a side character in his own movie where other characters are like, do you ever shut the fuck up? And it's like, why would you have that written for his movie? I understand Wolverine's movie. That would make complete sense. Deadpool's just an annoying character that shows up and bothers him. That's absolutely comic book accurate and video game accurate from what I've seen. Yeah. So I was just like, they're just disrespecting that. But the way that they did pull some little bits of the heartstrings by the end, and they talked about how much his family meant to him, you know, they did the Fast and Furious shit family, but like I felt like that was just like the most disrespectful thing for Deadpool. But for the MCU stuff, the reason that joke works so well with Chris Evans is because even Deadpool says Avengers assemble, like he's so ready, and he just
he's like, he's gonna say it, he's gonna say the thing, he's gonna say it, flame on.
He's like, what the what?
He's like, wait, what?
It was so perfect.
Flame what?
And then my other flaw with this whole movie, you hype up all these characters, the flashbacks, the cameo city. It is so good. Elektra, all of them get this huge scene. They all get out of the van at the same time. We got the badass music. It feels like Deadpool 2 when he forgets his ammo bag again. And so now here we are. We're walking into this big scene, and then it plays full fast motion and barely shows each character. And then it moves on to Deadpool and Wolverine jumping into the portal. And I was like, but wait. Then later on, we have this slow-mo cool scene with a bunch of Deadpools from all of the other multiverses, and they get the cool shot, but I can't tell you what the fuck Elektra did in the fight. I can barely remember anything that X-23 does besides the ankle split thing. Like, I just felt like they got sidelined after being hyped up, and I was like, if you're doing a movie that's for those characters, wouldn't you want more time with those characters?
Yeah.
More cool moments, like, do you remember this happening? Like that would be something I would have written in there, but that's my flaw.
I agree. They could have spent more time on that, on their fight scenes. Like, I remember cool parts. I remember Blade had some cool moments. You're right. I don't really remember Elektra having, like, it's not quite as memorable, though. They should have spent more time on that. I agree.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
and Cassandra, you made it completely clear that is probably their biggest fault is to pick a villain that no one gives a shit about. She puts her
No
hands
one,
in
no.
people. Ooh.
Yeah, it was kind of like who is this? What
Yeah.
is
I feel like
this?
the TVA guy had a lot more personality as a villain than she did.
Yeah, and then he becomes her bitch puppet.
Yeah.
Literally just dragging him around. I'm like, you could have done something here that was kind of cool, but okay. The
Right.
jokes though, they did land. Most of them did land. There was some great jokes, and
Yeah. A couple of them where I was like, oh, they got away with that one.
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah.
I was impressed with the baby Deadpool. I was impressed with all of the lead up to the final scene and just the charisma of each character from the Loki series in the TVA, and just like how opposite they are for Deadpool. Like you're gonna go with really serious characters to looking at what's his name? Oh my god. Why don't I ever remember
Uh,
people's names? Who's
oh yeah,
Deadpool's
the
best
guy.
friend?
Oh yeah. It's not like Dave or something, is it?
No, it's oh my god.
It's not Dave.
I was gonna call him Larry or something. Sugar Bear. Sugar Bear.
Sugar Bear.
What is his name? Peter.
I thought it.
Oh,
Peter,
fuck, it's
that's
Peter.
That's
So when
right.
Peter Poole.
is wearing, yeah, when Peter Pool's in his outfit and the girl from the TVA who's taking everything seriously just look at him and she's like, "You look damn good." I was like, "All right, that's funny." It's just this, this awareness is great, and that's what I go for a Deadpool movie for. I want self-aware fourth wall breaking, and I will say this: the first scene.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely
Iconic.
amazing. So iconic that NSYNC actually changed the title of their song to From Deadpool and Wolverine.
That's so funny.
Right.
And every single copyright of it, you can now only find Bye 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 from Deadpool and Wolverine.
Right.
Which is insane to
Became
me.
such a cultural moment for them and for everybody. Like it's a Fortnite dance now
It
because
is.
of Deadpool.
So crazy, so crazy.
Oh wow, I didn't know that. That's funny.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Huge cultural
I
impact.
just think right. I just think it's hilarious too because like the NSYNC had like a Trolls movie dedicated exclusively to them. Like they reunited to do a song just for that movie, and
Oh yeah.
their cultural moment didn't come from that. It came from Deadpool and Wolverine.
Reviving
No.
a classic song that's been out for over like 25 years.
Right. Like I saw more people talking about NSYNC because of Deadpool than they did that stupid Trolls movie. I was not a fan of.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I tried getting through World Tour and I
Yeah,
made
get
it
it-
through
get-
that
get-
movie. Couldn't do the rest. I was
Finally
done.
getting Wolverine's full-on cowl was also a pretty awesome moment.
Oh yeah, dope to see his full-on yellow uniform and Deadpool saying for the first time that only took 20 fucking years.
Yeah, that only took 20 fucking years. Oh man, so good, dude.
It almost looks like he's not embarrassed to be in a superhero movie.
Yeah.
Welcome to the MCU. You're coming in at a bit of a low point.
I love that, dude. Those jokes and the first act, they did really, really well. The only thing I will say as the final flaw is that we did not get anything from the main cast of the first two movies. Like they just, here's your birthday. Now you're not going to be in the movie except for a picture, and then we're going to bring you in at the end. And it's like,
Yeah.
really? Like nothing? You couldn't bring them with for any reason. You had to do a solo mission. Deadpool had to do a solo mission. But yeah, I guess it works. I was hoping to see.
I kind of get it. I feel like it would have been way too crowded.
Yeah.
I feel like it was Deadpool and Wolverine. It had to be them. If they try to bring on Peter or bring in anyone else like Vanessa, anyone along for the ride, it would have been awkward. It would have been like third wheeling, fourth wheeling.
Yeah.
So true. By the
So
way,
I
you were
can understand that, especially once we got to all the other Fox characters. Dude, the makeshift X-Men 3 Juggernaut, that shit fucking killed me.
That is how much they cared about the Fox universe. They didn't even want to shit on the bad movie.
Yeah, they were like, oh, we're getting that juggernaut in for this one, dude. I know they didn't get what's his name, the original
Actor.
actor to
Yeah.
portray him, but the guy looked close enough.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. They did. You know what? They cared more than they did about Sandman in No Way Home. I'm
Right.
impressed by that because I mean,
Oh,
I still don't know why he couldn't come back. Like, what was the reason that he couldn't do any new lines? He had to do all these old like Spider-Man 3 lines. They were like, "We'll put you in CGI." Like, like what is his name? Hayden Church. My
Oh,
God.
hey, yeah, Thomas Hayden Church.
Thomas Hayden
Yeah.
Church. Yeah. Like he did
Thomas
not do
Hayden Church.
anything for No Way Home besides maybe like a two or three lines, but I think they took it all from like whatever the original script was for Spider-Man 3 and just threw it in. And I was like,
Yeah.
that's
wow,
horrible.
really? I totally did not know that.
Yeah, so like every time that you see him turning from sand back to human, it's all CG.
Wild.
Yeah, and it's sad because like I really wanted him to be part of the villains having their little quips. They were all fun and interesting, but let's get out of the multiverse for a moment. I'm going to go on for too long. We're all super comic book fans, and by the way, everybody that doesn't know, Havoc Faction is Kyle's band, and they are absolutely kick-ass, and they involve superheroes. So go and check them out. Their links will be in the description down below. Also, if you really enjoy hard rock music and heavy metal music and all types of music, you're going to love what Jason Vilches does. His links will be in the description right down below as well. Both of these guys, incredible vocalists as well as musicians. I just wanted to give them a big shout out. Should have done that from the beginning. You know me. 3 hours into the thing, I'm like, oh, I'll put that in the beginning.
You're all good. Thanks, man.
Yeah, no worries at all. All right, so the next movie is an absolute train wreck. One of the worst films that has ever come out, and it's not because of the movie. It's because about what's going on currently with the lawsuit in this movie. So I just want to know, did either of you see It Ends With Us?
I did not.
Okay, cool.
No, I was going to. I had all intentions to, but I think some stuff came up that weekend. I have the AMC pass, so the monthly pass. So I try to go see at least 2 movies, 3 movies a month, depending on what's out that month. And that was definitely on the list, but some stuff came up, and I think I missed it.
You mean you didn't contribute to the train wreck? Why not, Kyle? Why not? No, the
Yeah.
only reason I saw it is because the marketing around it. Oh, it's a nice little romantic comedy. Oh, and Ryan Reynolds is bringing this nice, charming gentleman onto his set, and they're going to talk about both movies, and everything's all happy and joyful. It's about domestic violence. It's about
Yeah,
abuse. It's about manipulation, and it's about horrible
It's a
things
dark
that
movie.
happen in relationships that should not be portrayed as a romanticized happy version in a trailer, but that was what Sony wanted to do. And for the movie that we got, I can say it's well made, it's well shot. The characters that were there are characters. The main guy that's supposed to be the protagonist that helps her out of the situation, the only likable character. Like everyone else just sucks. I don't know what the hell the movie was going for. By the end of it, I was terribly annoyed when I had to hear an entire song by Taylor Swift. Why do we play entire songs in movies? Don't play entire songs. Just snippets are okay. We don't need to hear the whole thing. And it was this montage, and then it was just this lead up to that final line. And it was like the Gilmore Girls experience when you got Gilmore Girls: A Year in the Life, and the final line has been like preset from the beginning, and you know it's coming, but when it hits, you're like, oh, okay. When it happens and it ends with us, and she says it ends with us, I was like, no impact. Great. This sucks. And so I was really nice to the movie for a while until I learned what was going on behind the scenes. I learned that the people involved in this film just were put under so much pressure, and I don't want to be a contributor to their toxicity. I will put it as the art that it is C minus territory. C, pretty good. If you enjoy a story about domestic violence, you need help. But if you wanted to see something that's an artistic take on what could happen in a relationship and how somebody can gaslight you for so long until you believe it yourself, it's like it's a good way to do it. Like they did a little like flashback stuff, and I was like, okay, I get what they're going for. That makes sense. It was subtly done. But the rest of the time I was just like very, very shocked at how many things didn't like emotionally impact me besides the villain. So I was like, okay, well, that's it. And then the movie ended, and all I thought was, why would they say that in this position when like here let me put it in a phrase in a way that people would understand. Imagine you've been bullied your whole life. Your whole life. This guy has been picking on you. Yeah, right? We've all been bullied at least once in our lives. We've been picked on. And you want to get rid of this bully. And the only way that you can do that is to say that you have something in common, put yourself in danger by literally intentionally standing or sitting or laying down in the same room as this person, and then calling it quits, saying, I don't want to take your shit anymore, while you have a newborn baby in your hands. There were so many things about that where I'm just like, an abuser that you've been hurt by is with you and your child, and you're talking shit to them in the worst, like, what the fuck is going through your mind? Like, that is a horrible decision. I was like, he could literally strangle you. The pillow could go over the kid. Like, there's so many horrible things that could happen. And nothing, of course, does, because, you know, it's part of the book. But it's like, and then they just end it with this, like, happy-go-lucky fucking Hallmark movie shit. And I was like, okay, it's over. So, it ends with us. It ended with me dissing this movie. It should be dissed. For anybody that enjoys real cinema, go out and watch anything else. Don't contribute to absolute failures of understanding how to relate to your audience. Yeah, you should never contribute to these big corporate people telling you how to feel about a movie. I hate that shit. But either way.
Yeah, I agree.
They suck. Bad people. Despicable Me 4 is my next film.
I've actually seen that one.
Yes, Jason. Jason sums it up.
Because it's a kids movie, and I have a kid, so I most likely have seen the kids stuff that has come out.
Damn, I need to see more kids movies then.
There you go.
Yeah, anything that's not on the list, we'll definitely go by at the end, and then you guys can make me feel like you've been feeling the whole time, where you're like, I have no idea what he's saying.
Oh no, it's fine, because I'm obviously aware of. I'm very much aware of a lot of the stuff that I haven't seen. Or I've watched actual like reviews about them, so yeah. I'm at least mindful.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm here as a support character. You're the lead character on this, so
you're the little thing with Link. Hey, listen.
Yeah, I'm the man in the chair. Literally, I'm sitting in the chair right now.
Man in the chair. A guy in the chair. I love it.
Yeah.
So Despicable Me 4.
Yeah, how was Despicable Me 4? Was it pretty good?
What do you got, Jason?
I thought it was okay. I still think the first one is the best one. I feel like it's been diminishing returns ever since, but I think I'm starting to make my peace with Illumination as a studio. Like, they don't go for like movies that are gonna like change cinema, and they're not going for anything that's like super like controversial or it's just super like out there with like concepts like stuff. Like, they don't take big risks and stuff, but every now and then you'll get movies that are pretty fun. Like, I really liked the Mario movie, and I really liked that Migration movie. I actually liked it a lot more than I was expecting to. So I'm like, you know what? Yeah. This is what they're the safe studio. Like, you don't expect anything that's going to, like, rock the world. But if you're just going in for, like, we got a free weekend. I got to entertain my kids somehow. Let's go see Despicable Me 4. Will I be able to see everything that's happening 2 seconds, 5 seconds, 10 minutes before it happens? Most likely. Can I literally walk out of the movie, go do errands, come back, and feel like I'd not missed a single thing? Sure. But you know what? That dance party at the end of the movie was really fun, and I actually liked it a lot.
Nice. I do agree. The dance party at the end was definitely a needed thing. That was something that has been a trope for kids' movies for quite a long time, and this one felt like it was earned. I like how they summed up most of the character arcs. A lot of characters from the first 3 movies are also there, which is really cool to see. I have no idea if Trey Parker was actually there, if it's just a guy standing in as his voice, but it was cool to see all of those guys again. The story, I can't remember anything like at all. I just literally have no memory of this movie. And that's really weird because I saw Minions Rise of Gru and remember almost the whole plot. Like, it's fucking nuts. But I did see that movie 3 times. Yeah, I don't know. Rise of Gru.
Oh, there you go. That helps too.
Yeah, I just felt like I cared more about Gru in Rise of Gru than I did in Despicable Me 4. Despicable Me 4 was just like, all right, we're done, right? This is all. We don't need to do anymore. We're good. All right.
We can't. Yeah,
Great.
we can't do any more of these, can we? You can't squeeze any more out. I think this is all we can do.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And I'm
I
sure there's
forgot
still
that there even was a fourth one.
yeah. Yeah, I think some of the minions are like have superpowers or something. It's like,
oh yeah,
oh
that's
yeah,
right. Thank you,
that's
thank
this
you.
one.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. The
But they're
super
also
minions.
like shit at it, which is kind of funny. But yeah,
I remember now that you bring that up. I remember the minion that got stuck in the vending machine.
yeah, oh yeah.
that like
Spends the whole movie
prolonged like endless conflict just getting out of a vending machine. It's so
Yep.
funny. But that shit was it was a good throwaway family fun. It had some heart. There was some heart in there. I can't remember what it was, but it affected me when I saw
feeling
it.
some heart.
Yeah, I remember feeling something, and when I left, I was like, that wasn't the worst thing I've seen. So I was nicer. Now I'm just gonna say that's probably a D plus. I
Yeah,
don't remember
I'd be okay
anything.
with
I don't get it anymore. Why do I put so much movies that are like in terrible standings in the highest thing? Until 3 months when I forget the whole plot. You gotta go see Despicable Me 4.
Gonna keep making them as long as they keep making money. They'll still keep pumping them out.
Yeah. So true, so true. All right. So keep speaking of movies that are going on forever and ever. This movie is a sequel that was unfortunately warranted a fantastic sequel to the original Alien movie. Came out in the year of 2024 and blew my fucking mind. I saw the original Alien last spring for the first time
So
ever
good.
in theaters.
Oh wow.
Yes, they had like an anniversary. I think it's 40 years or something. And when they were talking to the director before the film, they had this little preempt thing where it's talking about Romulus and how it was going to go and how they were like really inspired by the original. And so seeing the original and then seeing Romulus was the best fucking choice. Not only story-wise, but also just seeing the direction and how much they cared. This movie firing on all cylinders, the best horror movie, the best sci-fi movie I've seen probably in quite a long time. But I did see Interstellar recently too, but that's not a new movie. So that was amazing too. But either way, Romulus, something happens where characters on a random planet that I don't give a shit about happen to go to a space station because they have to do a rescue mission, and it sounds like the plot synopsis of Rescue Mission from Power Rangers Lost Galaxy. But it goes with a much more gruesome idea, and the way that they play off on understanding these aliens and the xenomorphs and oh my god, everything about the original is in this movie. And then it just goes on and on and on until you get to Act 4. And when you get to Act 4, you have no fucking clue what's going to happen. And when it happens, you're like, I'm so disturbed, but also very interested. What is going to happen next? And so the movie ends high note, absolutely amazing. I have not seen the third Alien movie or Aliens, so I can't tell you if it goes directly into it well or terribly, but oh my god, I love what they did. Did you guys see Romulus?
I did not.
Romulus is for sure one of my favorite movies that came out last year. It's probably the third best Alien movie in the franchise. Like, I would rank it probably Aliens, Alien, Romulus.
Whoa.
It doesn't tie into Aliens because it doesn't need to. Aliens is also a big time jump, where this is directly right after the first Alien movie. So I like that. I like that it's technically a direct sequel to Alien.
And it doesn't tell you, which is great.
Yeah, so I really like that. I like that tie-in. But yeah, going into this movie, I was really hyped. I heard good things, and the atmosphere looked great from the trailers. The effects were practical, which I liked, and the cast seemed decent. The lead girl did better than I even expected. I honestly wasn't sure how I was going to feel about the cast at first, but as it played out, I was like, okay, yeah, no, I like these characters. These characters are I think they should be. They were young. I didn't expect them to be so young. And also I'm so used to like in alien movies, it's usually just all adults. We never really had anything that was like teenage or like early, just I think they were like supposed to be like late
College.
teens, I think,
Yeah.
or 20, like maybe 20, 21, like very early 20s or very late teens. And we never had that really in an alien movie other than like I think there was Newt in Aliens. There was a kid, but other than that, it's all adults. So this was kind of cool to see like really, really young adults. Because when you're that age, it's like you don't have the confidence that you have when you're a fucking adult taking shit on. So when you're like in your early 20s, it's like you're just making shit up as you go, and I feel like you are a little more fearless, but also not as confident as a person. So it's like that was an interesting concept, I think, for these characters. And I thought the lead girl killed it. I thought she was she kind of honed into like young Sigourney Weaver kind of
Yeah.
things, is what it seemed like, and I really appreciate that. So, and then also at the end of the movie, how it kind of ties into a little bit of a Prometheus vibe. I thought that was really cool too. I thought it did a good job really connecting a disjointed franchise. So I was very happy.
The ultimate props that I can give to a film that I see in theaters is that I forget that I'm in a theater. This movie did that along with the original Alien, and for the whole time I was like completely into what I was watching, and I felt like I was there with them. And we were talking about a zero gravity fight with Godzilla and Kong, out of all fucking things. But the one that they did in Romulus, excellent, and so genius good with how they defeat these aliens. Like, man, I can't tell you how creative this guy. What was the director of this one? He's so good. Like the way that they put this together and made it feel like it belongs with the original, it's excellent.
Yeah, the sets were great. They still had the technology from the first movie. Like it was good. I really don't have any complaints about it, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. I
really don't.
An A. I think it could be A+, but we did have that stupid bitch line. I think it was said by the fucking robot instead of Sigourney Weaver.
I wish the girl said it.
Yeah.
I do wish the girl was able to have that line. That would have been great, but I also feel like maybe it would have been too on the nose.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I'm glad that they still said it. I'm glad it was said, and I thought that was nice. It was a nice nod. It was
a little callback.
It was a nice little callback.
Jason, if you have a moment,
I definitely give it a solid A.
Yeah, Jason, if you have a moment to see a movie from 2024 out of everything that came out, there's 2 movies. One of them I'll be talking about in the near future on this, but that's the other one. Like, you gotta see Romulus.
Yeah.
I don't know how they did it, but they did it. I was so impressed, man. I can't wait to watch Aliens with the context of Romulus, though, just so I can have this, like, does it fit? Does this trilogy work? And if it could just cut off there, most people say Aliens is the best movie. So I'm like, maybe I only have to see the 3 and then I'll be done.
Now, I would say Alien 3, as much as it has its flaws, it still ends well. Like, it still wraps up as a trilogy. Because then you got the Alien Resurrection, the 4th one, and that one was just a 90s movie, just shit show. Just such a 90s movie.
Does that not sound exactly like the Halloween franchise? Also called Resurrection, where shit hits the fan?
Yeah.
What is up with Resurrection movies ruining everything?
Yeah, the Resurrection, it was just so edgy. It had what's his name? John Perlman. Oh, sorry, Ron Perlman.
Yeah,
Ron Perlman.
Hellboy.
Yeah.
Who was fun in it. Like the cast, it had Winona Ryder. Like the cast was great. It's just the movie was just so edgy and so like, and then it got really fucking weird, and it's just like, I don't know what they were doing with it. But it didn't need to. Then they had to bring back Sigourney Weaver, which I don't think they needed to do. They could have just made a whole different type of alien movie, and they went the way they did, and it exists now. But it has like 2 different endings too, which is funny.
Oh, I really gotta
yeah,
watch this franchise.
Oh, dude, the franchise is honestly overall really great, and I always enjoy the movies. It's just some are better than others for sure. But I'm glad that this was a high, and like, I hope they do a sequel. I hope we get that girl. I hope we get a sequel to her story.
So you want another prequel that leads up to Aliens?
Yeah,
That
because it could be
continues
its
where we
own.
left
It
off.
can absolutely be its own story. It's such a big universe.
Yeah.
You'll see. You'll see when you dive into it. We can absolutely, and because there's a big time jump between um, the first Alien movie and Aliens. There's even a video game that came out on like Xbox 360 and PS3. That's
Yeah.
also, I think it's canon. But it's Sigourney Weaver's daughter.
Yeah.
While she's alive, because I think the time jump is like 75 years or something like that.
Oh shit, you're right.
Yeah.
They could throw in a couple trilogies.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Uh,
there's a big time, like Sigourney Weaver's on ice for like 75 years. Like, spoilers for you, but like they find her in Aliens, and they're like, she's like, where's my daughter? And they're like, oh, she's dead. Like, she lived a long life, basically. So like, yeah, because I think when she went away, her daughter was supposed to be like 10 or something. Like, she was like a child. So by the time she got woken up, her daughter's like, oh yeah, no, she grew old and died.
Man, if you could ask
Um,
me anything I remember about Alien, I would not be like, oh yeah, she had a daughter.
Right.
That'd be the last thing on my mind. I'd be like,
I honestly, I can't remember if they
crazy.
talk about an alien, but I think they might just be something that's brought up in Aliens. I
Oh,
can't
okay.
remember if it's talked about an alien or not. I think it might just be new information that you find out. I can't remember exactly. It could be like a quick thing she brings up in Alien, but it's not like really touched on. But yeah. Anyways,
all right, great stuff. So either way,
The game is
Romulus.
really good though. Alien Isolation is fantastic. My sister wanted to start playing that because obviously the movie had come out, and we started because I have it on PS4, so I put on my PS5. I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
no, this is too scary.
it's a great dude. I have it on my Xbox 360, and I love it. It is such a good game. The story's
Right.
great. It's a scary ass fucking game.
It is.
dude.
Is it like Left 4 Dead
Games
kind of thing?
No, it's like first person. You're like survival mode kind of thing, but
Oh
like
shit.
Yeah, it's a
when
first-person
the
horror
alien
game.
shows up, it like adapts to how you play too. So like you can't do the same strategies over and over again, and also it's just you can't really kill the thing. It's really hard. So it's like it's like it's a whole different ballgame watching a scary movie than actually like playing a scary game. Like, oh no, I'm controlling this. I have to go into there even though I don't
Yeah.
want to because I know death is in there. If this was a movie, I could just like brace myself and let the movie happen. But no, I have to do the action. This is a whole level
I
of
have to
immersion
deal with the
I'm not ready
consequences.
for.
Yeah,
I love it. I
I'll
love
have
it.
to
I love
find it. There's an old video of me playing Dead Space with Richard from like over 2 decades ago, and I was just like shaking by the end of that.
it. That's what I was thinking.
Dead
Dead
Space
Space.
is
Dead
good.
Space. Yeah. Oh god. Wow. Okay. So, I don't know if I put these in the correct order on when they actually came out because I think this is definitely out of order. Joker Folie à Deux.
Oh yeah, I saw that one.
Okay. All right. I'll summarize it. Do you like the Joker from 2019? Are you a big fan of seeing a villain portray that same character? Well, you came to the wrong movie. You're going to see nothing
fuck
but
you.
a little bitch that doesn't know how to take care of himself. He's more pushed around than his mom did in the first movie. He has literally no self-confidence, and he somehow was able to sneak random women into his cell in a fucking prison. I have nothing to say good about this movie other than the random court scene with the Dorf character that comes back. I
Oh,
was
yeah.
very happy to
That
see
was-
that.
Yeah,
Like,
that was well played.
realistic.
everything else.
Yeah, exactly. Just complete shit show and musical numbers. The first scene in the entire movie is phenomenal. The cartoon throwback WB style Looney Tunes Joker idea. Would have never thought that would work. Kind of wish the whole movie was like that, so we could have just not seen whatever the hell this was.
Yep.
Joker Folie à Deux, Allison took me to see on my birthday. What a wonderful birthday gift. I really do appreciate it, even though I didn't like the film. That's okay, because I was literally justifying everything for the next 3 months after I saw it. I was like, no, the movie's good. See what they were doing. And so by the end of the movie, Kyle, for whenever you have a chance to see it, everything you learn in the beginning doesn't fucking matter.
Wow.
It's all useless. It never mattered in the
Yeah.
first place. Everything you liked about the first movie is gone. And then they just move on. They're like, oh yeah, you like this? Boom, it's dead. It's
Yeah.
you
So,
like jokes,
what you're telling me
Murray?
are you telling me like the first movie didn't truly exist
Basically, it's all in Arthur's
in his head?
Basically,
So I feel like it did happen, but it feels like the director like obviously this is just my interpretation, but like he like goes by the end of the movie you get the feeling is like, oh, you liked Joker 1? Well, fuck you. I don't like that you like it. So I'm going to ruin this character and his journey right here right now.
Yeah.
In fact, you should feel stupid for liking that first movie. How dare you?
Yeah.
Ew.
Why, liking a villain? What a psychopath you must be. We're gonna get rid of that problem for you. Here's a hero. Wait, we don't have one? Oh, okay. Well, we'll figure something out. Why don't we have them just sing everything that they're feeling every 15 minutes?
Yeah, this is why I skipped this movie. I was like, absolutely the fuck not.
Yeah.
I've heard
And-
just terrible reviews where I was like, nah. I like the first. I love the first one. I have it on Blu-ray. It was one of my favorite movies that came out that year, and I was like, I honestly didn't want a sequel. I didn't want anything else. I thought that was just a standalone movie. That's all it needed to be. I didn't want there to be a Batman or anything.
What I loved about
And,
the first one is that you could have both arguments and both of them were correct. Both audience members, whether you were pro bad guy or against bad guy, had something to take from Joker where it's like,
Yeah.
that made me think or that made
Yeah.
me feel. And this movie did none of that except
Yeah.
for the
Yeah.
court scene with the
I
dwarf
remember
character.
when they announced the movie and being like, oh, so they're not one, they're doing a sequel to this movie, but 2, it's going to be a musical, and 3, Lady Gaga's going to be in it. I was like, you know what? This sounds bonkers, but at least it's not going to be boring. That would be the worst sin of all if this movie that has all of these things that
Yeah.
should not work, at least it won't be boring. And then turns out it was just boring. Like the music
boring.
is also as of somebody who's a fan of musicals, like the music was all terrible in this. There was like maybe one song that like made sense in like a musical sense, because you know, like that it's the whole musical adage, which is like, you know, when the emotion gets too much for the acting, you start singing. And when the emotion is so high from the singing that you have to step it up a level, you start dancing. That's like the whole thing about like the emotional levels. But like none of the music or none of the emotions in the movie justified a singing or dance number to follow it. Like none of the emotion matched the intensity of what you would expect from an actual good musical. And like I want to say like 90, actually most of them really, but like all of the music in here were all like fantasy sequences. Like we don't get Harley Quinn at all in this movie. Like it's they really should not just have called her Harley Quinn. She's not in it. She wears like one costume.
She doesn't even.
right
No,
before
we
she's
don't
like,
even call her Harley.
Yeah, she's Lee.
Fucking dumb, dude.
That's Lee.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
It's
What a
a
waste.
play
Waste
on
of
words.
time. I don't think I'll ever watch it. I don't like.
Why
wasting
not,
my
Kyle?
time.
It's the best movie of the year.
Yeah. No, I don't like. I on it, dude. At this point, dude, with how much content is out now, I'm not even if it's like, oh, it's pretty bad, but you should like watch it just to see how bad it is. I'm like, I don't even have time for that anymore.
No. You gotta see the new Cameron Diaz movie. You have to see it.
It has to be like super so bad to the point where like it's worth wasting your time, but it just can't be like you can't waste your time on the boring shit for like this isn't even fun to make fun of kind of. Yeah.
Oh god.
So I
No,
totally
I definitely want to watch like absolute. I love watching ridiculous train wreck bad movies. I'm all for that.
Yeah.
Because I have fun with it. But if it's just like bad, where it's just like I'm gonna get nothing out of it, I'm not even gonna be entertained. I'm just gonna be mad. There's just been too many movies that I watch where I'm just like I'm mad. I don't want to be mad.
No.
And I feel like if I watch this Joker movie, I'm just gonna be mad. So what's next?
What's next? Exactly. That is the best question, isn't it? Venom: The Last Dance. Boy, talking about going from bad to worse.
right.
No. I honestly I have a good time with this film. not because I like it. I should say this for preface. I will say I saw Let There Be Carnage, I think 2 or 3 times in theaters. And I didn't like it any of those times, but I saw it all those times.
What do you do this year? Do you just like torture, dude?
I go into this movie.
You masochist?
I maybe no. I look at it and I say, I liked this part. Maybe it'll be just something where I didn't like this part on the first try, and then you see it a second time and you're like, no, this is bad. And that not Joker, Venom, the first one. Oh my gosh, I've seen that movie like 5 times.
Yeah. I love that first Venom movie.
It's
like
so
it's one of
awkward.
my I know this is a bad movie, but I enjoy kind of thing. And even then, like being like a Venom supporter, I'm like, this third one does not look like it. Does not even look like it's fun to make fun of. I'm gonna skip this one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
I skipped it
action-packed.
too. I was gonna watch it, and I watched Carnage just to be ready for it, and I watched Carnage. I'm like, oh my god, this is bad. I was like, is Last Dance gonna be better, or is it gonna be even worse? And then I skipped it.
Yeah, most critics can sum up exactly what this movie does. There's one specific plot point that they make very clear from the beginning of the film, that these symbiotes can only be found by this like giant monster that's hunting them if they were to show themselves. So like Eddie for most of the movie has to like be incognito. Like if they show the sentience, then you've seen Power Rangers, right? So the Psycho Rangers can only find the Power Rangers by hearing their voices. So they have to remain silent. So this Eddie has to be by himself. He can't show Venom at all until one very important scene happens where Venom decides that he needs to leave Eddie's body so he can have a dance number to ABBA with Mrs. Chen in Vegas.
Because it's the name of the movie. We have to. It doesn't matter that we have established that this will literally send the bad guys right to me. This is important for the marketing, guys.
As we all
Plot,
know,
let's make a plot.
if the characters don't dance, the movie is not good. Therefore, they must dance. Yeah, so Joker and Venom absolutely kill it on the dance floor, but do not kill it in the box office, and they deserve all of the hate that they get. The Last Dance is not as bad as Let There Be Carnage, in my opinion. Some people hate it more, but I could say like I enjoyed some Eddie and Venom moments. There's definitely that buddy cop kind of tone that they always have. He just seems irritated with the role, even though he's doing both, which I find hilarious. Like, imagine being upset with your own voice for a whole movie. That's just like, it's literally what Tom Hardy is literally dealing with. He just sounds like
That's
he's
so
irritated
funny.
with Venom, and Venom is literally Tom Hardy, so it's great. I honestly am so glad that they chose not to enter Spider-Man into this universe. It would have massively decreased my interest in Tom Holland's Spider-Man if he were to go against Eddie, the Eddie Brock version with Tom Hardy. So
Yeah.
Sony can burn in hell for all I care. Madam Web, failure, and another movie that's on the list, absolute failure as well.
Oh yeah, that came out last year too, huh? We can
sure
totally
did.
skip that.
Yeah.
Oh, I saw that one.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Jason's got his whole list. We'll definitely go through those movies at the end. I want to make sure that both of you guys get your faves and least faves out of the way.
Oh god, I totally skipped Madam Web.
For the next movie, I got a big surprise, a sequel that, once again, just like Alien, I did not expect to be as good, if not better, than the first film, and that is Beetlejuice.
Oh yeah, that's right. I totally fucking meant to watch that.
You didn't see it. All right.
I missed that one.
Jason, did you see it?
I literally had it on the other day, and my wife was doing homework, and she's like, "This is distracting. You need to watch this some other time." I'm like, "All right, fine. I'll watch it another time." And then I just ran out of time. I got the slanderous hit, and just all my time went to that.
Okay. Let me sum it up. Beetlejuice is back. The juice is loose. No, I'm just kidding. So what happens is this family with now Jenna Ortega, who I usually do not enjoy watching because I've seen her in Scream 5 and 6, and all she does is
Oh, I like her.
She's the annoying trope character. Like all she does is like yell and scream and complain. Like that's all she does. It's like, nobody will ever like me because I'm the murder house person, and no one's gonna like me because my sister's a killer, and I'm always in pain because I got stabbed in the leg by Ghostface. And I always go by this fact. It's like you're the only one that ever survived the first scene with Ghostface. Shut up. This is your movie. Stop complaining so much. So that's my issue with her character in Scream, of course. Jenna Ortega in this film, wonderfully likable. Very likable. So much so that there is one specific romantic angle that they try to push. And when they put a twist on this romantic angle, you don't see it coming. And when it hits, you're like, holy shit, they went there with it. Okay, I like what we're doing. Beetlejuice, Michael Keaton, unbelievable, as always. One of the greatest actors in Hollywood. Batman, Beetlejuice, the guy from American Assassin. He does anything he needs to do, and he does it with 100% accuracy. And he's so funny in this movie. This movie takes all of the comedy from the first one and amplifies it. It takes so many jokes to get through one plot line. Just so many jokes. They don't focus at all on the real stakes of anything. And there's one specific moment that made me laugh out loud, and it's all about how they got rid of the real life pedophile character in the movie.
Yeah.
And it is incredible. Like they do that joke from SpongeBob where he's telling Squidward how Krabby Patties would work if he ate too many. But they do that in their dark, twisted Tim Burton style. And it just goes on and on about like how he could be dead. And then when he finally dies, like, it's just amazing. How they do it is amazing. It's all 2D animation, I believe. And it's claymation, I think. It's so funny. Like, seriously, unbelievable how they pulled it off. By the end of the movie, it's batshit crazy. Who would have expected a Beetlejuice to be crazy? But it's funny. It's good. You have a great time. You don't think about anything on your mind in reality at all. It is the best waste of time, as you can literally turn it on and just laugh. It's great. Best comedy of the year, in my opinion. I had such a fun time.
Nice.
And I should say,
I need it. Yeah, I definitely want to watch it because I love the original.
Yeah, I should say this. I didn't see the original until I saw Beetlejuice. So I went back to the house. I said, we have to watch the original. I have to compare these two. And when I saw the first one, I was like, oh, it's not as funny as this new one. So there's my overall reason for everyone to go and see it. It's hilarious.
Nice.
Yes, highly recommend. So Beetlejuice gets a B. In reality, cinema wise, C-. It's not special. It does have fun effects. There's definitely like practical effects and a lot of prosthetics that are really well done, but other than that, you're really not getting too much new stuff that you would have never seen in the modern age. The next movie is one that is very controversial. This is a mockumentary by the Daily Wire. My dad wanted to see this movie. I'm a big fan of Matt Walsh's commentary on things that piss off Ben Shapiro. So I said, I want to see what Matt Walsh would do if he was in a mockumentary. It's called Am I Racist? Now, this is going to be in some hot water.
Heard good things. I need it. I've been wanting to watch this one too.
It's more of a like poking fun at, as opposed to a take this serious kind of movie.
Yeah.
Which, mockumentaries are supposed to be. But the reason that it exists is to prove a point. And because it's so funny, it's totally missing it. So by the end, you feel, even if you're a right winger, you're like, that was just funny. Like that's not usually how you're supposed to take away from a political piece and having this opinion that he does. It's really interesting to see the background, like how each person actually is like being paid to do these interviews and how much they're being paid and how many stupid things that they say on camera and how they don't literally realize that it is Matt Walsh the whole movie. I'm like, there's got to be something here. There's like this disbelief. Like, there's no way they don't see the cameras. This is like impossible. This has to be staged. But there is one specific scene. Let me preset this by Jason's standards, because Jason is not in this political ideology, Jason, how do you feel about the Jesse Smollett thing? Do you feel like it was a self
Oh,
attack? Because I just want to make sure on this before I say how
no, you're all good.
hilarious. Okay. So
Definitely suspicious of that man. Yes.
okay, good.
Oh yeah, I mean, it was totally proven that he fucking falsified that whole thing.
So
Yeah.
this movie has one specific scene, the Jussie Smollett reenactment, where they take word for word every single claim that he makes and they put it in real life as if it's an SNL sketch. It is one of the biggest laughs I've had in a theater. We were surrounded by people that were kind of not made for comedy. They were there probably for the political stuff. But I was laughing my ass off so bad at this scene.
I see the attacker masked. That I had said that they were wearing MAGA hats. I never said that. And he said, this MAGA country punches me right in the face. So I punched his ass back. And then we started tussling. You know, it was very icy. Fighting. There was a second person involved who was kicking me in my back.
That specific clip in itself, it sold the whole movie for me. I was like, could you just do this? Can you just take exact things and put it like how it would be if they were to be reenacted? That's I just want to see reenactments of these horrible things that people claim and that were never real to begin with. That would be funny to me. Like, it was so funny. Funny. But yeah, that's about it for Am I Racist? It misses on the real serious stuff. It's great as a comedy. It's great if you like the self-awareness. If you're into the DEI and bashing the left stuff, I don't think you're going to get too much political. There's one try hard serious scene where they're like really trying to get you to feel something. And I'm like, you're not the right movie. Don't do it here. Don't do it in a different movie where you're taking things more seriously. Because the whole time you feel like you're watching Borat. And imagine Borat like talks directly to the screen and is like, can you believe people would think like this? Like, shut up, Borat. Go fucking, pull your dick out in front of somebody. Like, it's just like not what you would expect from them. So either way, move on to the next one. This is a complete switch, and it's my favorite movie of the year.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Complete switch. The Wild Robot.
Oh yes, I love this one.
My
kid in the
even on
background.
it.
Yeah, I've heard really good things about this one. It's on my list. I've been meaning to watch it. I heard I have a lot, like my friends with kids all went to see it, and then my brother who doesn't have kids saw it and loved it too. So it's on the list.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes. A Quiet Place, Day One, and Wild Robot both did something extremely well with how humans can react to terrifying situations. And this whole movie is about a robot understanding what it means to be a mother. It's wonderful.
Wow.
It's a wonderful.
So good. It's a movie that like I completely like saying this completely genuinely made me cry when I watched it. I was like, whoa,
Wow.
I was not expecting this.
You did not cry.
Oh, I did. You weren't there when I watched it, Jade.
I actually was.
Oh, you watched it with your grandmother.
Yeah, I finished it. But
Calling you out. You didn't
Hold
cry,
on.
Dad.
We got to settle this right now.
I watched some of it with you.
You did, but you didn't see the sad parts that made me cry because we didn't finish it. Remember? See, there we go. I got her. Look at me. I'm schooling a child here.
Yeah.
Dad of the year.
Actually, you didn't watch all of that. Do you remember? Yeah. Okay. Well, then I won the argument. Go sit down.
There we go.
No, but so Wild Robot, Jason, if you want to sum up the plots and out, I don't even want to spoil anything. I
Oh yeah, don't spoil anything for me. I don't want any spoilers.
Okay.
You literally called it though. It's like a robot that gets stuck in the wilderness and learns how to be a mother. And I don't know. that wasn't the angle I was expecting the movie to go, because I remember seeing the one teaser trailer where it was just the robot and just this big shot of nature, and it said the wild robot. I'm like, okay, is this going to be like The Revenant but for kids or something? I don't know. Like, robot just trying to survive in the world. Just like, no, it's going to hit you in the parent feels. I'm like, of course it is.
Oh my
Oh, and the
god.
do you
parent
know
feels.
know how to hit me in the heartstrings? But it was like I thought it was going to be like a sad kind of movie thing, but like it was weirdly like almost like a joyful, triumphant kind of like, the parent feels of like this, the joy you feel when you see them accomplish something, like that kind of cry, where it's like, oh, this is not a sad cry, this is a joyful thing, which is like, that is not the emotion I expected from this robot movie made by DreamWorks, but they knocked it out of the park.
Yeah,
They really
Nice.
to put it in an even more easy sentiment, I will say it's the exact argument of nature versus nurture, where nurture wins.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
the way that they help the nature argument and let it still be there. Like, this movie does not pull any punches, as I was talking about with other films. This doesn't do that. It puts you right into the center of nature and shows you at full force. But because it's a robot and not a human being, it obviously has ways to evade death. So it continues, and it just wants to learn, and as it learns, it becomes responsible for things, and it changes its perspective, and it is amazing. You guys were talking about Illumination's migration, which has to do with an animal. This animal is also in the Wild Robot, and how they did it. Oh, was it? Wait, migrations with ducks, right?
Is it ducks or is it geese? No, I think it's ducks.
Yeah, it is ducks. Okay, so never mind. Different bird species in the Wild Robot, but still, the way that they do this, Kyle, it's worth a watch. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, absolutely. I've heard good things. It's on the list. I'll definitely want to check it out.
A+, best movie of the year, no question, best animated movie of the year, and it also is my favorite DreamWorks movie after Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. Like, that level of impressive. So,
wow.
Yeah,
Nice.
I loved that movie. So the next one I got here is a movie that none of you guys saw, no doubt in my mind. The best Christmas pageant ever.
Oh yeah, no, I totally saw that, and I was like, nope.
You saw the trailer and you're like, nah, not for me.
Yeah, no, I saw it on Netflix. Or Netflix. I can't remember what it was on, but I remember like scrolling through or something. Maybe it was Amazon. I don't remember. And I was like, what is this? And then and I was like, oh, absolutely the fuck not.
So I'll tell you what it is. It's the Christian interpretation of A Christmas Story.
Oh.
And what it is, it's actually a really sweet little story about, a church putting on its usual Christmas pageant, and they do the reenactment of the birth of Jesus and everything. And it has a lot of Jesus sentiment in it, which is great. But at the same time, it's about these kids that are just outcasts and they don't fit into this expected religious, uptight society that we are working in. And everyone's so judgmental towards this group of children that basically have no parents, nobody to guide them in the right direction. And then the story, of course, has the lesson behind it of, don't judge, be more open to this. They had one gut punch moment, and then as soon as they hit me in the gut, they pulled it back and they were like, but here's how everyone's reacting. I was like, no, that's not it. That's not how you do that moment. You go back and you show me that again, because that was beautiful. It was, because you guys are never going to see it. There is a little girl. She's been with her brothers, and she's the tough girl of the group. Her mom basically not in the picture, so she's always been fending for herself, doing whatever she wants. They're, bad kids in this Christian movie. Bad kids are, just like vandalizing small objects and shit. So she has one specific moment after all of her character development where she's holding baby Jesus, the doll, in church. And the way that she's holding it, people are looking at her like she's crazy. And then she looks at them and they're like, what are you doing? And she's like, this is how I held my sister. And it dawned on me right at that moment. And this is the gut punch. she raised all of her siblings. She was holding her sister as a baby. I'm like, that's powerful. And then they were like, but how do people in the church feel about this? And I was like, no, that's not what we're doing. That's not it. And so that was like the big thing. I was like, man, you almost got me to believe that this could have been a C plus, but now you went right back down to that C. It's a sweet movie. It's easy to watch with the family. If you have Christian relatives that are like really looking for something that they're like, oh, it's too crude, I can't handle a Christmas story, they'll love this. It'll be kind of the same story, but with a better lesson than shoot your eye out, kid.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm glad it was decent.
Yeah, definitely very very enjoyable at times, but like I said, they could have done so much more on the emotional stuff. And it's because that last year had just the greatest like 3 movies with emotion. I went from freaking Inside Out 2 to If, straight into A Quiet Place Day 1, which I had no interest in emotion when I was looking at the trailer. I was like, oh, cool, horror movie. But how they did it was like, wow, that was magic. That was awesome. So yeah, best Christmas pageant ever. Good movie. If you like your family and you want to have a good time and you are Christian belief, it's a great movie for you. If you can't handle simple storytelling, it's probably not going to be the best thing. And if you don't like that I just spoiled it, I don't know, go fuck yourself. No. No, Red One. Oh God. I'm sorry that I saw this. Next Christmas movie. Did you guys see Red One?
I did not. I was almost morbidly curious about it, but I'm like, I don't know if I'm that morbidly curious.
It looked like the trailer looked. I was like, oh, this looks fun, and then I watched the reviews. I'm like, oh, never mind.
You guys both dodged the bullet. It is something. You start off and you're kind of thinking this could be a promising plot line. I like what they're doing. I like the action standpoint of a Santa Claus story. I like how they make him buff and shit. Like, it's J.K. Simmons, first of all,
Yeah,
playing Santa
dude, the
Claus.
cast was great.
Yeah. And you have like an entire like 3.5 minute scene of him just working out, like he's getting really ripped. I'm like, am I gonna see badass Santa fighting demons? This movie could be epic. And then they never do that. And then they're just like, let's do a MacGuffin chase so that we can figure out what's going on with Santa because he got taken away, and now we have to talk to very annoying, really stereotypically racist version of Krampus. Very annoying, really, really, really annoying character. And then they finally get to this big like Christmas witch that they all have to fight, which goes full on Kygo, whatever the fuck it is. You have a giant monster. What was that called? If you can help me, Jason. Kaiju, thank you. Goes full on kaiju, and then Santa kind of is involved, but he doesn't use his fists. He just throws snow globes. Fucking stupid ass movie. I hate it.
Sounds like it. Yeah, it's no Violent Night.
No. Unfortunately, Violent Night. See, I hated the protagonists except for obviously David Harbour as Santa and the little girl. She's my favorite. But like, the rest of the family members, I was like, can we just kill them too, just for the fuck of it? Like, I feel like they just deserve it.
Oh yeah, no, it was like that. That's what was great about it. Oh man, I loved Violent Night.
My fiance,
I was hoping Red One was going to be like a cool, like, cool action, but then
they did nothing with it. The Santa Claus parts were kind of cool in the beginning. The way they did Frosty the Snowman, oh my god, it's so stupid, dude. They made these like big buff looking. So you saw the Power Ranger movie from 2017 with all the putties or these giant rock monsters. That's how they did the giant snowman. They're like, oh, it's snowmen, and all they did, they're like, how do we defeat these things? Like they're invincible, and then they just pull the carrot out of their nose, or pull the carrot out of the snow, and it just like they just disintegrate. Like, really? That's what we're doing. It's like,
wow.
Yeah, super easy, barely an inconvenience. If you get that reference, you're awesome. It was bad. It was bad. D-, no, D+. I'll be nice to it. There were some smart, interesting things that could have gone somewhere. Still in the absolute D range. I'll put D across the board. D.
Yeah.
D for Red One. Okay. it is a movie. It's a documentary style movie, and it has absolutely nothing to do with either of you guys. I'm going to skip it. It's a Catholic movie called The Immaculate Conception. It has to do with the Immaculate Conception. I don't want to go into all of that. I will just say that the movie has way too many moments where priests are talking and they're not showing what I want to see. And I was like, can we please show the Immaculate Conception? And they're like, no, we're going to skip that part of the story and focus on something else. And I was like,
Oh, wow.
what the fuck? Why would you call it this and not have this in the movie? I don't understand what you're doing with your films. Either way, that's religious stuff. Now we go on to one of the most important movies of 2024, Wicked.
Wicked. This is when we start fighting, right?
This is when we start fighting. All right, Kyle, did you see it first of all?
No, I had no intention of seeing that movie, if I'm being honest.
Go get it. $29.99 right now. No, I'm just kidding. No, it is it's okay. And I promise I'm not going to fight too badly on this. I will just point out things that Jason says after he says all the positive things. Jason,
oh yeah.
It's all you, my friend. Give us this plot synopsis and how you felt about this.
So yeah, we dedicated a whole episode of our podcast to this movie on our Patreon, but we're all a bunch of like, musical theater nerds, or at least some of us are theater adjacent anyways. So this was going to be one we loved anyways. But based off of the popular musical, Act 1 of the musical anyways, I feel like this movie's been in development for like decades at this point, but it finally happened. I think it was really good, but I'm also like a fan of the original, and I think you can definitely tell that people who are fans of the musical made this movie, maybe somewhat to its detriment, because it's hard to be like, maybe we should cut this for time, when you're like, no, everything has to stay in here kind of thing, which I kind of get that criticism. It's a very long movie, so if you're like going in blind, not knowing any of the lore, like, this could be a lot, but I'm here for this because I love this musical so much. I love the songs. The story is very simple, but I think that's just because it's just the musical that is meant for the most general audiences. It's like one of the most popular musicals out there because it's so easy to digest, which totally makes sense. I think the casting was really good. I loved how practical they went with everything. The sets were insane. That giant train was apparently real. I'm like, Jesus Christ. The giant fields of flowers was all real. And of course, I'm just happy we got a movie musical where they went with people who not only who can act, but can also actually sing, instead of being like, no, we need to have a big celebrity in this movie so that we can sell tickets. Doesn't matter if they can sing or not. Let's just get somebody. But no, they actually went with people who could actually sing, with maybe the exception of Jeff Goldblum, but he doesn't have too much.
Yeah, thank God.
And you know what? It's Jeff Goldblum. I was like, I can look past that one. But yeah, I love this movie so much, as indulgent as it is. And I'm very curious to see what they do with Part 2, because Part 2 is shorter. Act 2 is much shorter than Act 1 is, and there's a lot of story stuff in there that people are like, are they going to change this? What are they going to do with this? I'm curious. So anyways, that's me.
I love it. And you know what? Everyone that wants to have their own opinion on this film, you're absolutely allowed to do that. And if you enjoy this movie or if you hate this movie, wonderful. I'm so happy that we can have two, we're agreeing that there are people that are allowed to have opinions out there. Allison and I went in with like the biggest, we just wanted to enjoy it, because like everyone else was talking about it like it's the big event of the year. Go see Wicked. And so I'm seeing all the commercials for it, and I'm hearing my favorite critics, and Chris Stuckman does a fucking video on it, and Chris Stuckman only does positive videos now. So I was like, well, obviously it has to be a good movie. I mean, this is my favorite critic. He liked it. I listened to Dan Merle. He's like, this is one of my favorite musicals. I'm like, I gotta see it.
Even Ben Shapiro had good things to say about it, and that was surprising to me.
That's true.
Like, whoa.
Oh, wow.
I don't find myself agreeing with him that often, but he had some good takes here. I'm very fascinated by that.
Very funny how he switched from Barbie to True Wicked. Very different takes after he got out of both films. So Wicked, for me, as somebody who is a big fan of the original Wizard of Oz, not the musical of Wicked, I've never read the book. I've never had any understanding of what it was. For the longest time, I looked at the poster and didn't realize there were two people on it. Yes, I was one of those people. Yep. I looked at the poster and I saw a woman in a black hat and some random cloud next to her. That's what I saw. for like 15 years of my life, and I was like, oh my god, there's two people on this poster. Holy shit, I'm blind.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy because it's
Oh,
like
that's
really
really,
good
even I
design.
saw that. Even I could see that.
I know, but it's like a really good design. Like, it got me good. So I was always like, oh, it's all about the Wicked Witch of the West and only the Wicked Witch of the West. So this movie, I loved the beginning, the way that they started it, and they did like this kind of tribute to the Wizard of Oz. They were showing you the before, or technically the after. It's a flashback.
Yeah.
They do the Deadpool. How did we get to this situation? But as soon as I saw Ariana Grande, I was like, all I have to do is just make it through this scene, and then she will become Galinda. Galinda. I won't have to worry about seeing Ariana Grande the whole movie. It'll just be Galinda. I'll believe that it is Galinda, and I can move on. And it never happened for me. I was watching the whole film, and every time that she was on screen, I was like, fucking Ariana Grande again. Still not feeling this character. Still not getting anything from this. Okay, whatever. Either way, so she has a song, and it's really high pitched. Like, this is soprano to the core. This is one of the hardest to understand. Like, I needed subtitles badly. Like, the sing-along version, I would buy it. Even though I don't like the movie, I would buy it so I could understand what she was saying, because for 15 minutes, I was still thinking, after it already finished, I was like, what was that song about? Like, her part specifically. I know what they're, saying. That's a very important thing. No one mourns the wicked, but the way that they push it into the story, and then they choose to go with the Wicked Witch's history, I was like, okay, fleshed out. I like it. Humanizing a character I've seen as a villain for forever. Fantastic. We've seen it in plenty of good movies and bad movies. One of the good movies I consider Maleficent. I think they did really well with how they portrayed that. Their movies, not so great. I can't remember right now. But the way that they started the story, I was like, cool. Anonymous. We're getting the idea that animals are coexisting with humanity. This is how life is. There's a bear who's there for her baby when she comes out of the womb and everything. So it's like this whole understanding. And I was like, what do we do for the other girl, the one that's telling the story? Jason, can you hear me out on this? What do you know about Galinda before we get to the school? Nothing. Nothing. So when you get to the school, this is the first time meeting this character. You have literally no idea who they are besides what you've already taken from The Wizard of Oz, unless you've seen the stage musical or read the book. And for me, I was like, so she's the popular bitch. Okay, cool. Popular bitch. Fine. I get it. That's cool. This is what we're doing. And then the movie goes and plays around with me. And it plays around with me. And it plays around with me. And I was like, please stop doing this. And by the end, it was like, you're never going to see this twist coming. She's the popular bitch that doesn't agree with the Wicked Witch. And I'm like, really? That's what we're doing? I saw it coming from the first scene. It made so much sense. Why would they get along? This doesn't make... So there's the most impactful scene that everybody is either completely in love with or I'm completely split on, is the interpretive dance scene. And it feels like watching the Joker do his first little dance after he shoots those kids in the first movie. And it's just like, for me, very awkward. I was just like, I get what I know it's supposed to be, sentimental. And as Richard said, and as Harold said, not Harold, what the fuck, dude? Why do I forget everyone's name? I swear to God, Hector, my bad. Hector said, like, you guys were tearing up, it's sweet. It's a good moment. For me, I was looking at Allison and I was like, what the fuck is going on? And she's like, people are trying to watch this movie. Stop talking over it. I was like, I can't like this. I'm trying so hard. I cannot like this. This is so strange. And then I'm just, going out of the mindset of like, this is a movie. Because then I'm looking at, once again, Ariana Grande as Ariana Grande. Her cheekbones kept moving in a different way. It's like, that's terribly awkward. I don't like how she is like that. Why is her cheek moving like that? And so I'm not focused on anything. But then Kyle, this is the best part of the story. They do a it's not subtle. It's very blunt comparison of animals being mistreated in the past. And it goes with actual oppression throughout human history that they were alluding to. And the way that they did it was so damn good that what I took away from Wicked is that I care more about a goat than I do the two main characters. A goat matters more to me than the two characters I spent the entire movie with. Therefore, I do not like Wicked. I would rather see the movie about the goat. What were his struggles like? I did this for Barbie as well. I was very outside of the norm. When there is a world of Kens and Barbies, I like to side with Alan. I'm always with the outcasts. I like to see their point of view. I'm always interested in that story. So yeah, it was not for me, and that's perfectly fine. Like I said, all opinions are allowed. I just honestly I can't recommend it to people. One of my favorite things I said to my coworker unintentionally when they asked me to like explain why I didn't like the film, I said I expected La La Land and I got Glee.
Okay. I can see that.
Yeah, so I didn't get like this super powerful message that everyone else was feeling. I was like, this is for theater kids. This is for theater kids. That's definitely for theater kids. And I was just like, man, I should have watched Singing in the Rain or something before this. I should have done the full musical thing, because I was just expecting Dear Evan Hansen levels of emotion. And even if you don't like that movie, there's just a lot of emotion that you get from that. And I don't know. It's not my greatest
it was
showman.
honestly it was the casting for me is what turned me off. I didn't like who was casted as the Wicked Witch of the West, and Glenda or whatever, she's the Witch of the East.
Yeah.
She's the Good Witch.
Yeah.
The Witch of the East is the Wicked Witch's sister.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's right. So yeah, I just, the casting just did nothing for me. I was like, I'm just gonna be mad.
So I will say this: in Devil's Advocate, the actress that did the Wicked Witch of the West, otherwise known as Elphaba, excellent job with everything that she was given, and vocally impressive. I had no prior information or care, or I didn't see any of their tweets. I didn't see them on Nickelodeon TV shows. I didn't see them change their hair color 6 times in 5 years. I didn't know anything about them. And I went in with a fresh take, and I was like, okay, she's good. I like it. I like what they're doing. And I also like that they changed the eye color, which was really cool, because she had like green eyes for green skin at times. Was it like extra green, in my opinion? I think it just looked green. I was like, this is cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
Okay.
Yeah. But either way, Kyle, you honestly have to see it, because here's the thing: when all of hell breaks loose because they screw up something on the sequel, I'm gonna be there with popcorn saying, I beat you to it. I knew you guys would hate it, and I'm here to help you. Because they'll be like, well, why would they cut that from this? Like, I feel like these people are so completely insane about their musical that if you change one little detail, they'll flip out like Swifties. And I want to see it collapse.
Or just the really hardcore comic book nerds. Dude.
Yes, exactly. Like, how could you possibly do that in a Spider-Man movie? He didn't get his powers until this comic. You know, like that. Yeah. That's like how it's going to be for these people. And so if they hate it, which would be funny, then I'll just be like, I've always been friends with you guys. What are you talking about? I forgive you for your opinion on the first one. I understand. It was only part 1. We didn't know what we were in for. Come to the dark side.
Right.
But no, Jason, I love that you guys had such a passion for it, and the way that you talked about it, like, it made me feel like when I was talking about High School Musical, which is right behind me all the time. Like, turn your brain off, have a good time, escape into a world that you've always wanted, you know, feel like you are Troy and Gabriella, feel like these things are, you know, in your real life, and it feels good. And some people had such a great deep connection to these characters, and I give props to all of them that can not see Ariana Grande and they do see Galinda, and like they just care so much about them. I just wish I had that. And the whole movie, instead, I was whispering to Allison, does this get any worse? And then the next scene came out, and I was like, never mind.
The love triangle.
It was good.
for the
God.
people it was made for, I'm glad that they enjoyed it. I'm glad that
Mhm.
just like Barbie, like
Yeah.
that was made for the simple girl, and the simple girls love that movie,
Yes.
and I would never want to take that away from them. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's not made for me. I don't need to. I'm just gonna let that exist in the world of
Please.
people that enjoy that.
I
You
will-
guys aren't holding space for Wicked right now, and that's okay.
Hold on. Can
Also,
you
like,
can you
what
give me
the
your
hell was
hand?
that
Dude,
press tour?
The interviews for the press of that
Yep.
movie are what gave me my entertainment, and that is what I'm grateful for.
I saw so many
because
parodies.
Bonkers,
So many parodies.
Those interviews were so fucking off the wall.
right?
I
Theater
don't-
kids.
Do you think they handed them like edibles before they started? Like
Yeah.
that would be a good explanation for why
Yes.
Ariana Grande is playing
Right.
handsy with.
Oh my god, dude!
Fucking weirdest
So
thing, dude.
fucking funny what they were doing. I'm like, what? Yeah, like what do you guys on mushrooms? Like, what are you guys doing?
Pass it
Dude.
around, pass it around. All right. Anyway, Wicked for me is a D. What do you think, Jason?
Oh, it would be at least a B, maybe an A minus for me. I
Go
think.
for A minus. Like it. Okay.
Yeah.
Kyle, what did you think of The Wizard of Oz?
Oh,
What
the
the-
original
no.
classic. Love that movie.
Okay, what's your thought on The Wiz? Just go by everything that's not Wicked, but it has to do with Wizard of Oz.
Oz great and powerful.
The
Remember
Oz
Mila
Great and
Kunis and her weird nose in that
What are your-
movie.
Oh
What are
my
your
god!
thoughts on
I
American
forgot.
politics in the 30s?
I forgot that even existed. All right, we only got I think we only got like 10 or 15 minutes left because Jason's have to go soon.
Yep,
Yeah.
we're scooting through. Okay, so next movie that I got here is Moana 2.
Ooh, I saw that one. Got opinions on that one.
Yes, Moana 2 is the biggest disappointment I've had from new animation in the Disney animation territory. I felt
Yep.
like Frozen 2 was really good, even though people had their issues with it. I felt like it was foolproof for me because I felt something. Moana 2 felt like what you got back in time when you would go from Aladdin to Return of Jafar. It felt
Yep.
like it was uninspired. It felt like the same cast was there, but nobody was actually aware of what they were doing. And Dan Merle was nice enough to do an entire review explaining why that is. This whole movie was supposed to be a 3-part series or 5-part
Yep.
series on
Supposed to
Disney
be a
Plus.
Disney Plus show.
And
Yep.
so you have moments where you don't even know what the hell they were thinking. And then, like I said at the beginning of this, they do the fake out, and I can't stand it now. It's becoming irritating. As
trope.
soon as it happened and Allison started tearing up, I was like, you're kidding, right? Wait about 1.5 minutes. Called it. Like, come on. It's too obvious now. Like, they gotta stop. Please stop doing
Yeah.
it.
It's so weird. It definitely has the pacing of like a TV show that at the last second we're like, no, we can make more money if we make this a movie. Doesn't matter if the pacing makes no sense. There's no villain in this movie, and like the stakes don't happen until like the third act, which we got like a half hour left. Let's just dive into it right now. And obviously I've been seeing on like my social media a lot of people like losing favor with Lin-Manuel Miranda and like the way he's like writes songs and stuff.
Yep.
But this made me miss Lin-Manuel Miranda because the songs were not it in this
I am
movie. They were
not a fan of him, and I also missed him. I was so upset with that first rock song. I was not rock as in rock and metal, but like The Rock singing and
Oh.
attempting to rap, and
Oh god.
oh man, it was awful. I thought it was like one of those like where it would be a bonus track like after the movie's already out, like in
Yeah.
High School Musical standards, it'd be the I Can't Take My Eyes Off of You song. You'd like, oh, okay, that would have been, that would have been part of the movie, but I see that it didn't fit. That's what it felt
Yeah.
like. Like it was like completely out of nowhere. There's too many songs, and I'm a big musical fan. I love musicals. I should have said that for Wicked, but I mean, I've always been a big fan of music and involved in movies. Baby Driver's my favorite movie. But either way, Moana, I didn't have the same feeling at all. I mean, when I saw that first movie and by the end of it, what the message was, I was like, whoa, this is moving. This is relatable. This is incredible animation. The water, the everything, and the animation's still there. and the same characters are still there, and the humor's still there, and there's some good songs, but there's no official Moana feeling from it. It is
no
very
vision.
no true ending to what they were trying to do. So
Yeah.
hopefully if they have a third one, they can
Yeah.
I don't want to say
They
Rise of
actually-
Skywalker it, but
They actually know that it's a movie when they start.
yeah.
It's
That
time.
would,
Yeah.
that would be great to not forget that you are supposed to make this for cinema instead of for Disney Plus. But either way,
Exactly.
yeah, it's
I'm
gonna
glad
be
I skipped it.
Yeah.
It's not worth it. Kraven the Hunter, another amazing movie that came out in the year of 2024. We really wanted to know what would happen with all of the characters in Spider-Man's universe if Spider-Man wasn't there. Like, that's what Sony was betting on, and
Yep.
all of us that were stupid enough to spend our money on this bullshit.
Yep.
Yeah,
The same
stupidest
goes.
shit ever, dude. I just can't believe. Yeah, for what Sony could have done, which was make just Ben Reilly Spider-Man movies and have him take on all these other characters. Stupid missed opportunities. Just
All
stupid.
across the board, yeah. Oh my gosh. And here's the greatest thing, as many critics have pointed out, there's some dialogue here that is performed and probably written so badly that it almost goes to the Room category.
Oof.
Wow.
Like, that in itself is why I went to see it, because my dad wanted to see it. I was like, well, if I'm gonna get The Room in superhero form, show me
Right.
what you can do. I want Tommy Wiseau all over this thing. And they did one specific scene where a character comes out of the shower, and I was like, oh, that's like straight out of The Room. That is so fucking dumb. I love it. That was great. And then everything else is like this super serious action shit. I was like, dude, Aaron Taylor Johnson is awesome. Can you please just bring back Kick-Ass? I'm tired of him being in bad movies. But he did do great in Fall Guy. I will say that. He's an excellent actor in
Oh,
that
yeah.
movie.
Great in Fall Guy. Great in Bullet Train. He's great in everything.
Bullet Train, yeah,
He's
yeah.
the only reason why anyone went to go watch this movie.
So true.
Yeah.
So true.
Because they're thinking like, well, it might be at least decent.
Uh-huh.
That's my thought. I was like, well, it might be decent. We're getting like a real Rhino, sort of.
Oh god, dude,
ish.
that was
And then we didn't, I guess. Like, I don't know. I didn't watch it. The CG looked fucking terrible.
it is so bad. It is X-Men Wolverine like levels of understanding Rhino. Like, that is ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So moving on. Kraven Hunter, D minus. Carry On, the last movie I saw of the year in that time, but there's a few more that I caught up on in 2025 that I'll discuss as well. Carry On, Taron Egerton. He's in a plane. No, just kidding. He's in an airport. He's a TSA agent. He's put in a predicament that he didn't know was coming. He was just trying to move up in his job, and then something happens, and a bad guy's now inside of his ear and telling him what he has to do in order for his basically family, friends, and life to continue. And the tension's there. The acting is great. I've already summarized this in a short. I enjoyed the shit out of this movie. I had no
It looked good.
expectations going in. Allison was like,
I was going to check it out.
we should watch this. I was like, okay, throw it on. And as soon as the movie started, I was like, oh, I like this. And then by the end of the
Cool.
movie, I was like, yep, this is like Die Hard. That's good. I like it.
Good to know. I wanted to watch that. I'm glad. Yeah. All right. Cool. If you liked it, I'll go watch it now.
Yes.
It looked decent.
Yeah, I'd say B plus. I've seen it a couple more times now, and I can say it does not hold up as much as the first time. First time, it's like, did you see Liam Neeson on a plane? What is that called? Nonstop.
Not take. Oh no.
Okay,
I forgot about that movie.
it's like that. That's like the tension. Commuter as well. Yeah, Taken, but
Yeah.
Taken's more so freaking white knuckled. I love Taken.
Yeah, Taken's great.
Amazing.
Cool. I'll check it out.
Jason, did you see Carry On?
I didn't, but surprisingly enough, I've seen clips of that movie on my TikTok feed where I would see it. I'm like, I think this is the movie Dan was talking about.
You can blame me.
I
Yeah,
could've
you
sworn.
probably you clicked on my short and now your phone
Right?
heard it and sends you nothing
Yeah.
but advertisement.
Exactly. The Chinese spies that were listening to our conversation.
Are you listening now? I said Wicked's a good movie. I'm just kidding. All right, so we're going on to the next movie, which was something Allison and I saw for our journey through the movies on Patreon, and that's something that we try to do every single month. I haven't been able to post them because it's so hard to edit these, but we did Speak No Evil with the amazing James McAvoy, and it's the American version of the movie that came out in 2022. I would say it's a great thriller. However, I didn't feel that thrilled by the end of it. I felt like it was a perfect ending for an American film. Like it was the hero. You know, you feel more optimistic when you watch a movie that's supposed to be very dark and it changes to something very light.
There you go.
That's all I could say, without spoiling it. But it's really good. James McAvoy is one of my favorite actors.
Yes, yeah, same. He's great.
I hear he's really good.
Yeah, I heard good things. I heard good things about that movie. It's on my list.
Yeah. All right, now let's get into the movie that we all care about. Oh, by the way, that movie got a B minus for Speak No Evil. Sonic 3 came out in 2024 and finally finished off the only video game trilogy of movies that we can actually stomach and not feel cringy about liking.
Yep. I loved it.
Yeah, I love Sonic 3
so much.
All right,
Sonic
Jason.
3 is fantastic.
Oh, sorry, Kyle. You know what? I'll let Kyle run the spotlight on this one.
Go ahead.
Yeah, man, Sonic 3, it gave us everything that we wanted, really. Sonic 2 was a great sequel. It's better than the first one. Sonic 3, like, we got Shadow, and he fucking killed. We got the whole Shadow the Hedgehog storyline, even with Dr. Robotnik's grandfather. Like, wow, they went balls to the wall with it. They changed the backstory a little bit with Shadow, but it ultimately, I felt like, made more sense in this world versus the original game storyline.
Yeah.
Where I think they created Sonic the or Shadow the Hedgehog in the game. Yeah. Whereas they found, like, them finding Shadow made more sense in this world than them because why would they create something that looked like that? Like, it's just fucking, that's silly, but it's, it's for the games. It makes sense. But for this, it made sense they found him and then they were running tests and learning from it and blah, blah, blah. Then they get into the regular storyline, and then the granddaughter gets killed and all this. Like, so the fact that they kept all that was fucking awesome.
Yes.
I love that they kept all of that storyline. Yeah, everything about this movie was super fun. You cared about, you still got, the whole cast back. Like, really no complaints. Like,
yeah, honestly.
I was smiling the whole time, and I walked out of that, dude, we got gold. Like, we got Gold Sonic again, or Super Sonic, and Shadow, like, just everything.
Yes.
You got everything you wanted.
Yes.
And then the fucking teaser at the end. Sorry, I totally kind of went all through that, but yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a perfect way of talking about it. I mean, you did have that nostalgia that was, consuming you as we're all millennials, so we grew up with at least one interpretation or iteration of Sonic. And ours obviously was Adventure 2 Battle that they were focused on in this movie. And the other movies didn't really hint at it as much. They were more like Sonic Heroes or just like the classic Sonic game. So when they went with Sonic Adventure 2, I was like, okay, well, how are they going to do that with Shadow's game being so dark? And they did it. And how they did it with Keanu Reeves, fantastic voice acting choice. I really liked his overall like arc. He was great. And his like motives were fantastic, both evil and non-evil. The Sonic stuff was pretty great as well. I like that they took a little bit more of a risk and they nearly killed. I can't remember James Marsden's character's name, but I was like glad he's not in this movie much.
Yeah,
dealing with everything.
They were in it just enough.
Yeah, exactly.
They were in it just enough.
We didn't need too many humans, and
no.
The second movie didn't learn that lesson, but this movie did, and it worked out so much better for that. The only flaw is that we could have got more Knuckles. I wanted more Knuckles. He's like the funniest character, and he has his own TV
Knuckles.
show. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they like sidelined him.
He was so good.
Yeah. But either way, Tails is great. I'm so excited for the next one. I can't wait to see all of the next generations looking at this as like the epitome of gaming. Like if we could get cool Sonic games again, that would be awesome. I think that there is one out currently that Matt Cantu is
Dude.
talking about, and it's amazing.
After I watched the movie and I went home because I got a PS5 for Christmas, and they had that new Sonic game on there to stream on the game store, and I've been playing it. I'm like, this is wild. I didn't even know this existed until I downloaded. I just saw it in the game store, and I'm like, oh shit, a modernized Sonic game.
Shadow Generations.
Yeah,
so good.
I love that. I got the Christmas. I've been obsessed with it. We're gonna talk about it on our next episode.
Great game.
It's
and then
such a good game.
We're gonna let Jason. Hold on. Let's let Jason finish his thoughts on the movie. That we can finish this. He's got 15 minutes. I don't want to crunch it too much.
I love that it's a film franchise that's made by people who actually respect and like the original material. Especially with video game movies, we've gotten decades of this point of people who just see it as like IP that they can just like, well, we got the name of Doom, we can get The Rock in this, right? Nobody's gonna care. It's a video game. Who gives a shit about this, right? But like on these films are directed by people who worked on the video games. Like they care about these characters and they know the memes, they know the lore, and like, you know, like it's a franchise that I can totally get behind. And like even like when I saw the first movie, that was the first thing I thought was like, you know, this is a kid's movie. Yeah, there's some cringy jokes in there. It's still weird that Sonic flosses and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, there's passion there. You can tell that these people care. And, you know, that will push me past whatever criticisms I have. And ever since then, it's just been getting better and better and better. And, like, so much just respect for the fan base, for the lore that is pulling from, and, like, references that you wouldn't even think are references. Like, I saw a TikTok the other day where they referenced the fact, like, the directors were like, oh, yeah, no, that was a subtle hint to that stupid meme about Shadow being obsessed with Latinas. We threw that in there. We knew you would catch that.
Yeah.
That's so good that they care that much because, you know, most directors, as we've seen, they work on one video game movie. It might be a success, and then they think that they can do these sequels. Mortal Kombat learned its lesson. I don't know how the new one's going to be whenever it comes out. It's just they don't care as much. And Sonic, it seems like it's in good hands right now. It could really expand, and it could become the next MCU. But I did not see that coming from the, like you said, the movie that had him flossing, and the very general, simple premise that they had from the first one. I was less impressed, but by the time that I finished with the third one, I was just big smile on my face. I was like, nope, that was great. And the fourth wall break, once again, if you haven't seen my short review, is the best fourth wall break in a kids movie, other than like Emperor's New Groove, when Jim Carrey looks at the screen and what he says. Oh my God. That is amazing. Absolutely amazing. I loved it, and I will never forget that. That'll stay in my memory for life. All right, so next movie is going to be a complete twist of fate. We got Nosferatu from 2024. Nice. What do we think of Nosferatu, gentlemen?
Oh, dude, that was definitely one of the highlights of the year. Like, they saved like one of the best for last.
Indeed.
Oh yeah, one of my favorites. I was one of the few that I actually saw in theaters.
Yeah. I saw it as well.
I was able to catch it in theaters right after the holidays, actually.
Yep.
When it was still out.
Perfect time.
But yeah, great movie. So cinematic, just so well made. It was nice. It was nice to watch like a film. It was nice to watch cinema. You know?
Yeah. We're definitely with you there for sure.
I give it,
and like just Skarsgård was just like, I completely forgot that was him. Like I didn't even go in knowing that he was in it at all. I'm like, no, you're lying to me. There's no way that's him. That you can't convince me that's him. Doesn't look like him. Doesn't sound like him. Oh, it is him. Oh, Jesus Christ! How does he do this?
Yeah, great. He's such a good character actor.
Yeah. Oh, he's so good. He literally escapes whatever Bill is supposed to be. I don't know who he actually is. That's the thing about him. Yeah. It's like, he's so hard to read. Like, does he have Pennywise just randomly come out now? Does he have Nosferatu just ending up in the middle of a phone call like, I'm sorry. Like, you know, just like... Yeah.
Dude, his voice, like, dude, I'm so impressed by all of that. And they made him look gnarly, and we only got to see him a little bit.
Yep.
Like in the moments you did see him, he was terrifying. His mustache was a little funny, but you know,
that's a little funky. That's the reason I gave it a little lower score. Other than the fact that this is not a movie you see with family members. I did not know that. I was walking in with my, Allison's brother. And
Oh, yeah.
we just go to see films, and when it got to that one scene, I was like, yeah, that's happening in front of us.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? Maybe I missed out on this in the 20s. What was that original film supposed to, what was I supposed to take from this film?
SpongeBob guy, what are you doing?
My virgin mind. Oh my god. But yeah, no, it was amazing. Cinematography, unbelievable. I love dark movies that can make you feel like the darkness isn't dark enough. And so when you get that big hand over the whole town, and it just looks so good. And I love that everyone truly has the terror from this, like, except for, of course, Willem Dafoe as one of the greatest goofball characters in a very serious film. He's so good at every role that he has to do. And yeah, he just nailed it.
I loved Willem Dafoe, and he was great. Aaron Taylor Johnson again.
Oh, that poor man.
Oh, that's right. He's been in like 6 movies of the last 2 years. That's insane.
Yeah, he's been working a lot.
Yeah.
Right.
But no, at Nosferatu, a way to end a year correctly. That is what I would go out thinking about. And I won't even bring up Bad Boys Ride or Die was on my list. Fuck that movie. Doesn't even matter. I liked, what was it? For Life. It's called For Life. Why didn't you just do 4 as For Life? And then Ride or Die could be the third one. It just doesn't make sense. Either way. Nosferatu is amazing, but not as amazing as my 2 guests right here. Once again, Jason Vilches and Kyle Rutchland of Havoc Faction. We're here for an incredible conversation with me. This is most likely going to be audio only just because of the little interruptions that I saw. I was like, I'm not going to be able to edit that out. Especially when she started responding, I was like, okay, I'll just, you know what, that'll be audio. That'll be fine. But yeah, so it's so nice to have you guys here, and I'm so happy we did this. I feel bad because we couldn't go through your lists. If you guys wanted to do that, we can do that another time, or we can just do that in our group chats ourselves. But like, I really enjoyed this. This was so much fun, man.
If you want,
I was just gonna quickly say, just to add, just a quick thing, just because anyone who listens to this and they're like, you guys didn't even talk about Dune 2. I will say I watched Dune 2 and I absolutely loved it. It's probably my favorite movie of 2024.
Same.
There we go.
I was gonna say that one and Hundreds of Beavers, which I think technically came out before, but everyone talked about it last year.
True.
They got wide circulation, so that one was my favorite, one of my favorites as well. So
And
there you go.
There you go.
And if you want more in depth, I will also have a podcast where we talk about all of these.
Yeah.
And it also goes on way too long.
It does, and it's great. And everyone should listen to the Media Drone podcast. That's what I'm saying. On the Media Man Dan podcast, we support Media Drone podcast. Get merchandise. Do you guys have merch yet?
No, not yet, but
Okay.
that would be pretty fun.
Definitely.
I'll check out
support
your
that.
your podcast, Jason.
Yeah, they're
Thank you.
epic.
Appreciate
They're
that.
epic. They're so funny. They go through the weirdest movies ever. Like, you got to listen to their Thanksgiving killer turkey movie franchise.
Oh, Thanksgiving. Oh man,
Thanksgiving.
that was just such a whiplash because the first movie is so fun, and then the sequel is like the worst movie I've ever seen.
Oh wow, that makes me want to watch both.
Yeah, that's why it's so fun to listen to their opinions, because they'll be like going from praise right into this negative energy, and they just go on and on and on. And what I love about them is that they're all honest people. They don't hold back at all. And Richard is very passionate about what he's saying, so he always will make sure that the listener understands his point of view.
Nice.
One of the most opinionated people I know, and I love him for it.
Yes.
He has a lot
I mean,
of hot takes.
that's what you want when digesting anything. You want those opinions because you want the listener. The listener's either going to agree or completely disagree, and either way, you want that emotional reaction.
But if you want somebody that you can relate to the most, Hector's your guy. Oh my gosh, Hector made me want to watch The Good Dinosaur. I watched The Good Dinosaur, and now I love it. Like, it is so good because of Hector. Thank you, Hector, for making me
love
like
that.
The Good Dinosaur.
Yeah, Hector's my favorite member of the podcast, and I'm on the podcast, so that tells you something.
He doesn't like himself. No, this is awesome, guys. I'm really, really happy this happened. And Jason, I'm not going to keep you too much longer. So yeah, Dune 2, you guys said was amazing. What was amazing about it?
It was one of those movies where it's better than the first one.
So epic. The build
it
up,
was-
finally, we got to the build up of the first movie, and it just pays off so well.
Yeah, like it as a sequel, it's it's like Empire Strikes Back. It's where the sequel's better than the first, and it's just so much action. The way it tells the story, like so much payoff. Whether you know Dune or not, you can digest it and enjoy all the world building, all the characters. It's very very cinematic. Like the director, I can never pronounce his name correctly. He loves what he makes, and you can tell he puts so much passion into it. Because he also did, the Blade Runner 2049 movie, which to me is another one where it's like, I can't believe we got that sequel, and that was amazing. And I can't believe we got these Dune movies where we got them made right. Like we got how they should be made, and I'm very, very grateful for it.
Yep. And now we got to look forward to Edgar Wright directing a new Running Man movie that's coming out soon.
I'm excited for that. I'm excited to see what he does with that. I'm hoping that it's great.
There's one flaw in all of the Dune movies. There's no Toto. Sorry. That's an instant fail because they did the soundtrack for the original in the 80s.
Oh yeah. Dude, the original is a guilty pleasure of mine.
Is it a so bad it's good?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
It's great to watch high or kind of drunk. Like either way, it's Sting is in it. Oh, it's fantastic. It's one of those that like you can't take seriously and you'll enjoy it a lot more.
Yay! That's what I love. Okay, so Dune 2, I'm definitely gonna have to see because I saw the first one. I didn't like the first one because I didn't understand most of what was going on. It felt like watching Mad Max Fury Road. I was like, and I had no context of Mad Max the first two movies, so I was like so lost on whatever they were doing, and then no characters were like talking, and then Dune, it was just like put your hand in this box, and I was like, okay, is this like Hellraiser or something? What the hell's going on? And then they're like, here's Zendaya with a scuba mask thing, and she has to breathe, and it's like sand, and everyone's in sand, and I'm like, I'm not getting anything from this, so I really hope that the sequel makes sense because this movie is too damn long. And
you have to rewatch the first one.
That's what people say. Yeah, it really actually adds to it.
It takes 2 to 3 watches to truly understand, which is what I like. I like stuff with like, I like that you have to like really learn it in order to, because that's how the books are too. I haven't read them, but like I've had friends who have read them, and then like they're like, dude, it took me like I had to read the first book like twice to really get it. And when you do though, like I watched the first one in theaters, and then I watched it again when it came out, and I watched it again, and then I went to the sequel, and I was like, I understand this all now. So, and I think the sequel, it tells the story a little easier to digest, if I'm being honest.
Great. I'm like really looking forward to seeing it. It's free, right now, on one streaming service.
Be.
Yeah.
It should be on Max.
Oh, it's on Max. Sweet. Yeah, we actually just got that.
Both of them should be on Max. So I say just watch them back to back.
Now, here's the biggest question, though, because of 2024. What's better, The Penguin or Dune 2?
Oh, that's tough. I mean, well, as a TV show, The Penguin was fantastic.
Yeah, that's what everyone says. And I'm like, both of them are on Max. Which one should I watch first?
Oh, man. Go through The Penguin and then go watch the Dune movies.
Sweet. There we go. That's what I needed to hear, because now I know I have to rewatch Batman, then The Penguin, then Dune, then Dune 2. Okay, cool.
Yeah, rewatch the Batman, because Penguin takes place right after, so it's good.
Perfect. That's exactly where I will start then. Jason, anything we can say before you go? Any final words of wisdom?
Hundreds of Beavers is really fun. I love that movie so much. I know you probably heard about it because it was Chris Stuckman's #1 movie of last year.
Yes.
That's how I've heard of it. Okay,
because of that. I'm like, I have to check this out, and I did, and I'm like, this was like the greatest thing I've ever seen. It's like, it's a silent movie, but it's like watching a full-length Looney Tunes episode that turns into a video game halfway through, and it was glorious. And just bits that you don't realize are running bits, bits that just lead into other bits, and bits that become used as traps and like Picardo's strategies and stuff. I just loved it so much. I recommend anybody watch that. It's on YouTube for free with ads.
I was going to say, it's
so.
an independent film, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So anyone that's listening right now, please go to the link below where I will have that, because that's important that you support real people that aren't being told to make a rom-com out of a domestic violence movie. No, I'm kidding. But either way, I really appreciate you guys seriously for being here and having this conversation. And I can't wait for this whole year to be full of fun as well, that we can sum up next year. I'm probably going to have Jason host the next time, and hopefully his list will be shorter, and the way he sums it up will be shorter, because my ADHD just takes freaking over everything. I'm just like, I'm going to give myself a minute. 15 minutes later, oh yeah, let's move on to the next thing. So
Oh, it's all good. I think what we could always do is have an episode. I mean, this could even be split up into part 1 and part 2, but could have a best of 2025 and then the least favorite of worst of 2025.
His podcast is doing that, so I didn't want to steal his idea, because I want to hear.
Steal his idea, dude.
I want to hear his stuff on his podcast. I want to hear what he says. And then maybe I'll bring him on, and then I could bring you on too. We could do that. That'd be fun. Either way, though, this was awesome. I'm really, really happy this happened. And Jason, I hope you have a great night, and stay safe out there. Just kidding.
Hell yeah, it was a pleasure.
All right, guys. You guys have a great night. Everyone listening to this amazing episode, I hope you enjoyed everything that you saw, because somehow I was going to put pictures of these movies up on the screen. Hopefully you didn't get too bored for listening for a long period of time, but I love what I do, and I hope that you loved it too. And we love movies, and we will shout it to the end of time. Please support your favorite films and filmmakers. And if they make something that is in physical media form, go out and buy it. Hold it in your hands. Own it and say this is yours. It will never disappear from a streaming service if it's in your fucking hands. That's the message.
True.
All right, guys. Have a good one. I hope that you guys have an awesome night, and stay safe out there. Peace.